Here you go, Sid.
It's there. Shalom to the World Wide Web. We thank the Most High. It's been a long week waiting to get back here. And we thank him that we was able to make it. For all newcomers, all new people tuning in for the first time today, we have an order. The Most High say do everything in decency and in order. We turn towards the east according to 1 Kings chapter 8, 2 Chronicles chapter 6, when King Solomon told the Lord that he would build his temple. He asked the Lord to put his name on it, because he said, what can I build for you? What can I do for you? What can I do? But he built that temple and he asked him, would you just place your name on it? That if your children are carried away anywhere in this world, if they would turn back towards this temple, towards your name, and pray to you, would you hear their prayers and would you forgive them? 1 Kings chapter 9, 1 through 9, the Most High says yes. In 1 Corinthians chapter 11, men are to uncover their heads and women are to cover their heads when praying or prophesying in the assembly. Daniel chapter 6 verse 10, he says, while he was in captivity, he turned towards the east 3 times a day. And he prayed to the Most High. So that's how many minimum times we are required to pray. 3 times a day. But you should be praying all day. And in 2 Timothy 1 chapter 8, we lift our hands up and we reaching out to our Father as his children, asking him to lift us up like a little child would come to their parents and they raise their hands because they're letting you know, lift me up. So that is the order of prayer. We turn towards, for us here in the east, towards the east, us being in the west, the land of our captivity. So we turn towards where his temple is. 30, okay, go ahead. We're reading Psalms 30.
Shabbat Shalom, family.
Shabbat Shalom.
Long live the King.
Long live the King.
I will extol thee, O Yahweh, for thou hast lifted me up and hast not made my foes to rejoice over me. O Yahweh, my power, I cried unto thee, and thou hast healed me. O Yahweh, thou hast brought upon my soul from the grave, have brought up my soul from the grave. Thou hast kept me alive, that I should not go down to the pit. Sing unto the Lord, O ye saints of his, and give thanks at the remembrance of his holiness. For his anger endureth but a moment, In his favor is life. In his favor is life. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning.
Yes, sir.
And in my prosperity I said, I shall never be moved. Yahweh, by thy favor thou hast made my mountain to stand strong. Thou didst hide thy face, and I was troubled. I cried to thee, O Yahweh, and unto the Lord I made supplication.
That's right.
What profit is there in my blood when I go down to the pit?
None.
Shall the dust praise thee? Shall it declare truth? Hear, O Yahweh, and have mercy upon me. Yahweh, be thou my helper. Thou hast turned for me my mourning into dancing. Thou hast put off my sackcloth and girded me with gladness, to the end that my glory may sing praise to thee, and not be silent. O Lord, my God, I will give thanks unto thee forever. Hallelujah! You know, we have to get in shape for that.
Yes, we do.
Oh, Ariel ben Israel. You know, keep you on one point where everybody holler, hallelujah, Selah, and you hear that, boy, 10 blocks over, but the house of Ariel ben Israel and his wife Abiah celebrating their anniversary, y'all. So they continuing on, counting the numbers of their one flesh together.
That's right.
So with this, y'all, we're going to go ahead. We got a class coming up, fill in the blanks. But what we're going to do, because last class was so powerful, bro wanted to just finish up because it was talking about the death of Jacob. So we had to get in the book of Jasher. We'll be going back into that. And we're tied in with little Genesis 49. And we'll get the final understanding. And you're going to see, y'all, a funeral that ain't been talked about in world history since Jacob's funeral in coming out of Egypt. And then, y'all, we're going to get right back into the class at hand, fill in the blanks. And what we want to do, y'all, is, shalom, bro, is fill in blanks of understanding, helping you to understand, because with all you're getting, you got to get what? Understanding. So we're going to fill in a lot of blanks because that's what Jasher does, the book of Jasher that's referencing Joshua chapter 10, verse 13, 2 Samuel 1:18, and also 2 Timothy 3:8 says that this book is okay to study out of. But like anything, y'all, we have to check every source reference that we have, because none of the books that we study out of can break the law of the Most High.
That's right.
You know, and that's what we're talking about. That's what it comes down to. It don't come down to how well you can speak Hebrew or what's the translation in the Hebrew, because no matter how you translate it, it still has to come back down to the law. Stealing in Hebrew is the same act as stealing if you say it in English, ain't it? Don't that mean taking something that don't belong to you?
Yep.
If you say it in Hebrew, you say it in English, you say it in Vietnamese, what is still the act? Stealing. Doing what? Stealing. And what does that mean when you steal?
Breaking the law.
And what is that law you're breaking? What are you doing when you steal?
Going against the commandments of God.
And it's taking what don't belong to you. No matter how you look at it, no matter how it said, if it said Buki Ba, what does that mean? Stealing.
He's fluent in Buki Ba.
Yeah, so absolutely. So y'all, with that, we want to always get you to understand. That's why the Messiah said, I didn't come to destroy the law or the prophets, because they wrote about him and coming into this world. And he said, if any man teach you to break the least of these commandments, y'all, it's talking about the littlest one that's in the Bible. If they teach you to break the one that they think, oh, well, God ain't gonna matter, all his laws are the same, from the littlest, tiniest one to the greatest sin that'll get you thrown head first into the lake of fire. So we want to be clear on y'all when we're talking about understanding nothing supersedes the law. Because Hebrew, the language, is governed by the law. So y'all, we want to make that absolutely clear, and these laws are being brought forth after the order of Melchizedek. The priesthood prophesied in Psalm 110, Hebrews 7 chapter, the priest that would be the head of that, and he's that one priest by himself. Ain't no little high priest, ain't none of that. Now we're royal priesthood because you part of that, but ain't no other high priest but him. He tell you don't call no man reverend, no man holy father. Some will say, well, I can say Abba, that just means father in the Hebrew, but if it's anywhere close to the lines of what you got these women out here doing, telling you they your Lord and they your Savior, then we know what Abba you talking about. Negro, you moving on up the chain now.
Right.
You done passed the Messiah up. Yep. Now you in to the Father position, just like Lucifer. You need some help out there, mister? Hey, bro, we feel y'all just go out. You stay there, bro. Yeah.
Some stuff
just got a few things coming in.
Making one trip.
So, bro, we gonna pick back up. What chapter and verse was we in, bro?
We are in 54.
54, y'all. We getting back into the book of Jasher again, y'all. So we want everybody to be up to par on when we study out of these, because these books fill in the missing blanks.
54. We're going to read about a chapter and a half. Because last week's class's title was The Sons of Jacob and the Death of Jacob. Okay, the sons of Israel and the death of Jacob. So where we are right now is after a year and a half when they left Egypt, Joseph had them leave Simeon until they came back. So they went back to the crib to tell their father Jacob, we got to bring Benjamin back before he'll let Simeon go.
Right.
So while they was there, he sent them back home, and he placed his silver cup, his chalice, like the players' ball. And you always see these cats with these big old diamond encrusted, jewel encrusted.
Old Bishop Don Juan.
Yeah, Bishop Don Juan type of them big chalices. Well, Joseph had one himself. That's where they get this from. Joseph had one, and when he revealed himself to his brother Benjamin, he said, I'm gonna do this. So he put Benjamin as a part of this plan. He said, I'm gonna send y'all home, but I'm gonna have this chalice put in your bag,
right? And
I'm gonna send my people after you and them, and they gonna find this in your bag, and they gonna say that you stole it.
Right.
Okay, because Joseph is still working his brothers because they sold him into slavery. So he's still trying to see their love for him and that they are repentant of what they did to him that caused them to end up in Egypt in the first place. So where they are right now and where we are in the story where we finna pick it up, Joseph, captain, ran after them on the way home, searched their bags, and found the cup in Benjamin's bag and said, he gonna die for this. And the brothers are so mad, they whooping Benjamin's tail all the way back to Egypt. And Judah said, this man has caused me to destroy Egypt this day. So we finna jump right into it. Where we left off last week, we finna jump right back to the story, but that's the backstory. So chapter 54 is where we're going to start to finish this up, and then Daniel take over. So,
all right, book of Jasher, chapter 54, verse 1. And when Judah saw the dealings of Joseph with them, Judah approached him and broke open the door. and came with his brethren before Joseph.
So you see now, I want y'all to pay attention to Judah now. This is all about Judah. Judah told his father, entrust the lad into me. I'll take care of this. So no matter what's going to happen, I am responsible for Benjamin, your baby boy, and I'm not going to let nothing happen to him. So you see how they just got back to Egypt, and Judah kicked in the door. When I mean kicked in the door, I'm not literally talking about kicking it in. He busted in through the door. Like, you playing with me now.
Right.
This is how angry he is. We are going to see who our true forefather. Judah is our father from the Lion of the tribe of Judah, which the Messiah is also known as. But we are looking today. We are from the tribe of Judah. We are looking at our father. Out of the 12 tribes of Israel, this is our father, and we gonna see who he is and get to know him today for you to know who you are a descendant of.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Read on.
And Judah said unto Joseph, let it not seem grievous in the sight of my Lord. May thy servant, I pray thee, speak a word before thee. And Joseph said unto him, speak. And Judah spoke before Joseph, and his brethren were standing before them. And Judah said unto Joseph, surely when we first came to our Lord to buy food, thou didst consider us as spies of the land. And we brought Benjamin before thee, and thou still makest sport of us unto this day.
So he's saying, y'all, you still playing with me. We did everything you said, everything you accused us of, you was wrong about, but we did everything you say, and you still playing with us. This is where the tide changes, and this is where Judah like, look man, this is over with. I don't care who you are, and I don't know why you playing with us like you playing with us, but now I ain't afraid of you no more.
That's right.
It's on right now. Okay? There's a whole lot of words I can use that I ain't using right now. But Judah let them know. Look, inward, it's on. Read on.
Now therefore let the king hear my words, and send, I pray thee, our brother that he may go along with us to our father, lest thy soul perish this day with all the souls of the inhabitants of Egypt. Dost thou not know what two of my brothers, Simeon and Levi, did unto the city of Shechem, and unto 7 cities of the Amorites, on account of our sister Dinah, and also what they would do for the sake of their brother Benjamin? And I with my strength, who am greater and mightier than both of them, come this day upon thee and thy land, if thou art unwilling to send our brother.
Now we saw last week when Joseph called all of his hundreds and soldiers into the palace to bind them. And they went after Simeon, and Simeon roared after them, and they all fell down and were scared and ran away, and some of them died by running away. Left Joseph there by himself. But Joseph's son just stepped up, hit Simeon in the back of the neck and dropped him. Okay? Joseph's son, one of his 2 youngest boys, he only had 2 sons, he stepped up and smote Simeon in the back of his neck and dropped him and bound him and threw him in the joint. And they like, Simeon? Okay, and Simeon said, don't tell nobody that this little young cat did this to me. He gotta be of our father blood to do this to me. But Judah just said here, I'm stronger and mightier than Simeon and Levi put together. So what you gonna do against me? See, this is on Judah of letting his father know. He ain't saying nothing about his other brothers. He's like, I got this.
Right.
I run this. and I'll take this whole city on by myself. I don't need them.
Yes.
I don't need my other brothers to do what I got to do because I gave my father his word. My word that I would take care of this boy. Read on.
Hast thou not heard what our God, who made choice of us, did unto Pharaoh on account of Sarah, our mother?
See now, let me quick. I'm gonna say this real quick, and we're gonna keep reading on. But see, they always give honor and praise to the Most High first.
Right.
Let them know, and letting all their enemies know, the God of the whole earth is with us. He is our God who we serve. So, just like he said, have you not heard what our God did? So that's the end of it right there. We wouldn't be who we are if it wasn't for our God. So we gonna give the Most High his praise first. Read on.
Whom he took away from our father, that he smote him and his household with heavy plagues, that even unto this day the Egyptians relate this wonder to each other.
Still talking about it.
So will our God do unto thee on account of Benjamin, whom thou hast this day taken from his father, and on account of evils which thou this day heapest over us in thy land. For our God will remember his covenant with our father Abraham, and bring evil upon thee, because thou hast grieved the soul of our father this day. Now therefore hear my words that I have this day spoken unto thee, and send our brother that he may go away, lest thou and the people of the land die by the sword. For you cannot all prevail over me.
You see what he said right there? See what he said? He's like, this my fight. This my battle. And not, can't all y'all together prevail over me.
That's right.
Over me. You done pissed them off now. Okay? Keep reading.
And Joseph answered Judah, saying, why hast thou opened wide thy mouth? And why dost thou boast over us, saying, strength is with thee? As Pharaoh liveth, if I command all my valiant men to fight with you, surely thou and these thy brethren would sink in the mires. And Judah said unto Joseph, surely it will become thee and thy people to fear me, as the Lord liveth. If I once draw my sword, I shall not sheathe it again, until I shall this day have slain all Egypt. And I will commence with thee, and finish with Pharaoh thy master.
So that means that I'm trying to keep that word from coming out of my mouth. But he's saying, I'm killing you first.
Right.
I'm gonna kill the whole land of Egypt, and Pharaoh gonna be the last one to die. The one who you giving praise to, the one who you work for, the one whom you are under.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill you right now on this throne. Then I'm gonna slay the whole city, and then I'm headed to Pharaoh's crib, and he the last one that's gonna die. Read on.
And Joseph answered and said unto him, surely strength belongeth not alone to thee. I am stronger and mighty than thou, mightier than thou. Surely if thou drawest thy sword, I will put it to thy neck and the necks of all thy brothers. And Judah said unto him, surely if I this day open my mouth against thee, I would swallow thee up, that thou be destroyed from off the earth, and perish this day from thy kingdom. And Joseph said, surely if thou openest thy mouth, I have power and might to close thy mouth with a stone, until thou shalt not be able to utter a word. See how many stones are before us? Truly I can take a stone and force it into thy mouth and break thy jaw.
Okay, now look, check this out. Y'all remember that movie, The Last Dragon? Y'all remember Show Enough?
Yeah.
Y'all remember them crazy faces that Show Enough made? Judah looking at Joseph like, Show Enough. Nick, what? Huh? He looking at him just like Show Enough. Like, you ain't getting this. Show Enough said, I have the power.
Yes.
And Timac, the little last dragon cat, was like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna win the battle, I'm gonna win. See the difference in the attitudes? Joseph know who Judah is.
Yeah.
Joseph know exactly who Judah is. And he playing with Judah. He playing with Judah. And Joseph know, I can't whoop Judah. You see what I'm saying? I know I can't whoop my older brother. But he know that I'm playing with him right now. This is that what we call the highest level of festivity. We ain't got there yet. We ain't got there. He keep taunting Judah. I know who you is, but Judah has no clue who he talking to.
Right.
Read on.
And Judah said, Yah is witness between us, that we have not hitherto desired to battle with thee. Only give us our brother, and we will go from thee. And Joseph answered and said, As Pharaoh liveth, if all the kings of Canaan came together with you, you shall not take him from my hand. Now therefore go your way to your father, and your brother shall be unto me for a slave. For he has robbed the king's house. And Judah said, What is it to thee or to the character of the king? Surely the king sendeth forth from his house throughout the land silver and gold, either in gifts or expenses. And thou still talkest about thy cup, which thou didst place in our brother's bag, and said that he has stolen it from thee.
So he's saying to him, I know you did this.
Right.
And with all your money and all your riches and all your jewels, you acting like this a little Dixie cup.
Right.
The little red cups that are at every party, this ain't nothing more than a Dixie cup to you. Why are you so concerned about this chalice that you drinking out of when you got all these jewels? What is it about this one that you so mad about that don't mean nothing to you to take our brother from us? Read on.
God forbid that our brother Benjamin or any of the seed of Abraham should do this thing to steal from thee or from anyone else, whether king, prince, or any man.
So what he's saying right there, what did Judah tell him right there? Law.
Right.
Law. Thou shalt not steal.
You're right.
He started off talking about his grandfather Abraham. And he said his father Jacob, we were raised in this.
Yeah.
I know my brother ain't stole this from you. I know you placed that in his bag.
Right.
And you playing with me. You playing with me. You don't want none of me. Read on.
Now therefore cease this accusation, lest the whole earth hear thy words, saying, For a little silver the king of Egypt wrangles with me. And he accused them and took their brother for a slave. And Joseph answered and said, Take unto you this cup and go from me, and leave your brother for a slave. For it is the judgment of a thief to be a slave. And Judah said, Why art thou not ashamed of thy words, to leave our brother and to take the cup?
Take thy cup.
And to take thy cup. I'm sorry. Surely if thou givest us thy cup, or 1,000 times as much, we will not leave our brother for the silver which is found in the land of any man, that we will not die over him. And Joseph answered, And why did you forsake your brother and sell him for 20 pieces of silver unto this day? And why then will you not do the same to this, your brother? And Judah said, The Lord is witness between me and thee, that we desire not thy battles. Now therefore give us our brother, and we will go from thee without quarreling. And Joseph answered and said, If all the kings of the land shall assemble, they will not be able to take your brother from my hand.
Now hold on, right there. He said not only what his army is. We seen last week that Pharaoh gave him an army as big as a full crowd packed to a stadium. And he just told them, if all the kings' armies of this land assembled together, if all of them came for me in my defense, you ain't gonna be able to take your brother from us. Okay, I got my own, but I can call on these other kings that will come and fight for me, and you will not be able to take your brother from me. See, he's still playing with you. Read on.
And Judah said, what shall we say unto our father when he seeth that our brother cometh not with us? And he will grieve over him. And Joseph answered and said, this is the thing which ye shall tell your father, saying, the rope has gone after the buck. Judah say, what? And Judah said, surely thou art a king, and why speakest thou these things, giving a false judgment? Woe unto the king who is like unto thee. And Joseph answered and said, there is no false judgment in the word that I spake on account of your brother Joseph. For all of you sold him to the Midianites for 20 pieces of silver. And you all denied it to your father, and said unto him, an evil beast had devoured him. Joseph has been torn to pieces.
So you see here how Joseph is running the details to them of what actually happened to him. But when they went back to their father Jacob the first time, he's like, this king here, he knows some stuff that he should know.
Right, who broke the oath?
Yeah. He knew that we had a little brother. And Jacob said, why did you tell him you had a little brother? He said he already knew. Why he running down his family to his family, and they still ain't put the 2 and 2 together that we are all family.
Right.
Okay, so he's like Amalek or whatever, I can't remember the cat name. They said, surely there is no king greater than this one.
Right.
But they like, Daddy, you ain't seen this nigga here.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And Amalek would only be a security guard.
Right.
In his army. Okay? So what you know about him, this dude is way up higher than him. Okay? So he running down, now he's getting this off his chest. Is what he's doing right now. Now Joseph is getting this off his chest of what y'all Negroes did to me.
Right. Right.
And they still ain't putting it to two together because he know the details.
Right.
And they still like, how does he know all this? But this ain't no sitting there contemplating time. This is wartime right now.
Yes, sir.
So he just like, look, no matter what you say, we coming up out of here with our brother. I ain't trying to fight with you. Don't start none, won't be none. But you start this, Joseph, I, Judah, I'm finishing it. I'm finishing, I don't care who you are. I'm finishing it by myself. Read on.
And Judah said, behold, the fire of Shem burneth in my heart.
See?
Now I will burn all your land with fire. And Joseph answered and said, surely thy sister-in-law Tamar, who killed your sons, extinguisheth the fire of Shechem.
So he bringing like Judah, nigga, I know about your dirt.
Oh, right.
I know about your dirt. I know you gave her your bracelet and your staff. You know what I'm saying? He know all of this.
Boy, look here.
So look how, so it's just like me and Daniel were younger, and Daniel did something wrong. And he didn't know I knew about it. He didn't know I knew about it. Like, man, I was with you that time. You stole that car. You know what I'm saying? And you picked me up in it, but I didn't know you stole it. You know what I'm saying? This is where he hitting them. He hitting them now.
What's up?
And I'm telling you, he playing with Judah. And he know up front already, he don't want none of Judah. That's the only reason why he can test Judah like he testing him, because he know that I'm going to push him to his fullest limit.
What you saying? Go ahead.
I'm going to push him to his fullest limit. And then I'm going to keep on with him. I'm going to keep on with him. I'm going to keep on with him. I'm going to push him till he's ready to throw that first punch. And then it's going to be like, okay, I'm playing. Quit playing, I'm playing. I'm sorry. Because Joseph know even though he the brother could fight him back, he still don't want none of Judah.
Okay, I'm going to.
Okay, and we finna see how this is it's going to still keep going. Read on.
Verse. Who?
26.
26.
Read 25 again. This is with Tamar. Read
okay, 25. Yeah, with Tamar. Y'all wasn't paying attention. Verse 25. And Judah said, behold, the fire of Shem burneth in my heart. Now I will burn all your land with fire. And Joseph answereth and said, surely thy sister-in-law Tamar, who killed your sons, extinguishes the fire of Shechem. And Judah said, if I pluck out a single hair from my flesh, I will fill all of Egypt with its blood. And Joseph answered and said, such is your custom to do as you did to your brother whom you sold. And you dipped his coat in blood and brought it to your father in order that he might say an evil beast devoured him, and here is his blood. And when Judah heard this thing, he was exceedingly wroth, and his anger burned within him. And there was before him in that place a stone, the weight of which was about 400 shekels. And Judah's anger was kindled, and he took the stone in one hand and cast it into the heavens and caught it with his left hand. And he placed it afterward under his legs. And he sat upon it with all his strength, and the stone was turned to dust from the force of Judah. Boy, y'all, them some powerful rear end cheeks, ain't they? You talking about gluteus maximus.
That was the maximum maximus. And then they said it turned to dust.
Yeah.
There weren't no little pebbles left. It was dust.
And Joseph saw the act of Judah, and he was very much afraid. But he commanded Manasseh his son, and he also did with another stone like unto the act of Judah. And Judah said unto his brother, let not any of you say, this man is an Egyptian, but by doing this thing, he is of our father's family.
See, so even though can't nobody do what we do, in their eyes, they're Egyptians, but they like, no, they gotta be related to us. See, they still haven't put the two, because it's not meant for them to put the two and two together yet.
Right.
This has to play out. Can you hold that down over there, Hananiah, please? They are putting this, still they have not put the two and two together, because from the very beginning of why Joseph was sent to Egypt,
right,
we're going to get that answer in the end, but it's not going to be revealed until the end, because it's just like when Simeon got dropped. Simeon? The whole when he just screamed, hundreds of thousands of men ran away and trampled over each other and died from the crowd, like the running of the bulls. That's how they ran from Simeon when he screamed. But then one of Joseph's sons just stepped up to him and dropped him and manhandled him and wrestled him and threw him into jail. Okay? So it's like, hold on, these some kind of cats is these, but it can only be from my father. Okay? Read on.
Verse 31. And Joseph said, not to you only is strength given, for we are also powerful men. And why will you boast over us all? And Judah said unto Joseph, send, I pray thee, our brother, and ruin not thy country this day. And Joseph answered and said unto them, go and tell your dad, go and tell your father, an evil beast had devoured him, as you said concerning your brother Joseph.
Woo! He blowing.
And Judah spoke to his brother Naphtali, and he said unto him, make haste. Go now and number all the streets of Egypt, and come and tell me. And Simeon said unto him, let not this thing be a trouble to thee. Now I will go to the mount, and take up one large stone from the mount, and level it at everyone in Egypt, and kill all that are in it. And Joseph heard all these words that his brethren spoke before him. And they did not know that Joseph understood them, for they imagined that he knew not to speak Hebrew. And Joseph was greatly afraid at the words of his brother, lest they should destroy Egypt.
See, now look. Now see, we talk about speaking in Hebrew, speaking in tongues. We talk about all this, but it's just like, what's that language Snoop speak?
Shizzle.
Yeah, whatever,
Yeah.
all that stuff that he be saying, that's how they're speaking. Speak purely, they're speaking in their own language, in Hebrew. So they thinking and assuming Joseph don't know Hebrew, right? And what he heard and understood them say in Hebrew, it said right there, and Joseph was greatly afraid at the words that his brother just said. He's like, oh, it's the plan now. It's a plan now. It's finna be on. Now they done spoke to him in the Egyptian language that they communicate, right? So y'all see that. They've been talking all along, but now they speaking in their own language amongst the 10 of them. Yeah, nigga, you do this, woo, 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 woo. And Joseph know exactly what they're saying. He's like, uh-oh. I'm afraid now. It's on. And what it is that they gonna do this and think I don't know, so it's gonna pop off before I have a chance to respond to this. See what I'm saying? If he did not know and was really not their brother and did not know how to speak Hebrew, he would have not known what their plan was. You see that? What's your question?
Dr. Walker, 144 asks, can you show us the exact verse that tells us that we are from the tribe of Judah?
Well, we gotta go all the way
Right,
back.
I know that's what we are.
Yeah. Deuteronomy 28. When you look at Leviticus chapter 26 and Deuteronomy 28, what you will see is that the blessings and the curses that the Most High put down, we sum this up real quick. We are the only people that fit the description of what happened. Of course there's been slaves, of course there's been this and that, but when you look at every single verse, they all, I'm talking to you like you don't understand. Yeah, but the point is, right, the point of it is that we are the only people to fit that description. If you look at Psalms 83, you will see that all the kingdoms of the world, that these nations came together and said, let us be confederate in the fact and make it so that the name of Israel will be no more in remembrance. Everybody on this planet know who we are except us. They did everything that they could do to even strip us of our own identity. That's what our biggest problem is trying to tell the next brother or sister who they are, and the only way we can get them to see who they are, we have to take them to the scriptures and say, who did this happen to? That's the only way we can show. The whole book is about us. But the point of it is, there's no exact, except if you look at 68 of us in Deuteronomy 28 verse 68, we are the only people that was taken from one land to another in the holds of slave ships. Now you show that, and what other people has that happened to, and it only happened to us. But all the blessings that the Lord said he would give to us if we would obey him and keep his commandments, statutes, judgments, and laws, he didn't do it. So when he said, if you don't do it, this is what's going to happen to you. And what happened in those scriptures, because he warned us a long time ago, if y'all keep being hard-headed and stiff-necked, this is what's going to happen to you. So when you read those curses, whoever asked that question, when you read those curses, think about yourself in your mind, about your people and those things.
Who said understood?
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
And actually, we're gonna hit a couple scripts that clear it up as well, because we're gonna get into Genesis 49 and the end of this when we get into Joseph's deathbed. He's gonna run the same thing, and then he's giving out the blessings for the last days and for the end time for each tribe. So each tribe is gonna fulfill. How you know who you are is through prophecy, because there ain't no DNA we can take right now and say he's Levi, he's Simeon, he's that. We have to go off the prophecies of what he said. This is going to happen to Judah in the last day. If you for walking in them shoes of Judah in the last day, then you Judah. Now Judah is spread to the four corners of the earth, but the same prophecy is going to be happening to Judah in the four corners of the earth. Then Reuben, this gonna be your issue. Then Simeon, this gonna be your issue. Levi, this is what's gonna happen to you. So it's going to identify not just, it ain't gonna just spell it out for you, the black Americans or Judah.
Right.
It's not worded like that. It's telling you gonna have your neck in a yoke of iron. So the bulk of slavery, Judah, because they're the strength. So in American slavery, and when we escaped America, that's how Judah was getting to the four corners of the earth. They went up to Nova Scotia, they went up to Canada, they went over this way, but they were escaping from the plantation. We ran amongst Indians, and that's where we get the term, you must got some Indian in your blood. I see good hair. You know, you ain't got, you don't see nary a cuckabug. Right. But so when you understand that we hid amongst them, and that, but we dominate whoever we deal with, whatever people we deal with, wherever we go. So it identified Judah with the yoke around his neck, and it said your hand will be in your enemy's neck like this. So the other 10 tribes were not. That's why you don't see them movies of slaves, you know, beating them in Africa or over in Asia. It's just the heart of America, and America is the only one that said we have to deal with slavery. We ain't dealt with it like the rest of the world have. And you have to understand, though, they sold a lot of Judah to America. So it's going to be reversed in Joel when he say, I'm going to sell your sons and your daughters to the Sabians, and they going to deal with them like all of the countries over there, all of that Psalm 83, they sold us to the Europeans to deal with us. So in like manner, we won't be dealing with them in the land. You're going to sell them to the Sabians. Go ahead, AZ.
I like what you were saying about that, how you recognize them, like chapter 4 through 6 in Jeremiah, basically.
4 through 6, right, absolutely, bro.
Judah, from the bad to the worst and back to the good.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It
So Jeremiah chapter 4.
Yeah, it say the whole house of Judah went into captivity, because Judah did worse than the 10 tribes.
Right.
It says treacherous Judah.
Right.
Jeremiah 3:2. It say, he said, you saw what the 10 tribes were doing. You did worse than them, and you the one left in the Holy Land. They left. And you doing worse than them still at home. So he say, y'all really got to get going. Because you the head tribe, and you got Levi and Benjamin there with you too. So you got law there too. And this what y'all doing? Y'all gonna show them one better. I'm talking about the devil was like, Judah, show me how y'all did that. That's how treacherous we was in our own land.
That's bad.
When you read Ezekiel 16, you will understand it perfectly how treacherous we were. It ain't got nothing to do with speaking no language. It was all law breaking at a high level. And like I say, when we get into the second part of this class, filling in the blanks, we're going to understand what happened at Bethel. That was formerly called Luz.
Okay, let's keep moving. So
Verse 34. And Joseph heard all these words that his brothers spoke before him, and they did not know that Joseph understood them, for they imagined he knew not to speak Hebrew. And Joseph was greatly afraid at the words of his brother, lest they should destroy Egypt. And he commanded his son Manasseh, saying, Go now, make haste, and gather unto me all the inhabitants of Egypt, and all the valiant men together, and let them come to me now upon horseback, and on foot, and with all sorts of musical instruments. And Manasseh went and did so.
Go gather me all the inhabitants of St. Louis.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
You see that? Go get St. Louis.
Yeah. No
That's
matter
what
how they
he's talking
ride,
about.
let them ride.
Go get St. Louis.
Let them be on them scooters that's on the street corners.
Yep.
Let them be in Chevy and Impalas. I don't care.
Yep.
This is St. Louis here, they ain't gonna act right.
Yeah. And Naphtali went as Judah had commanded him, for Naphtali was light-footed as one of the swift stags. And he would go upon the ears of corn, and they would not break under him. And he went and numbered all the streets of Egypt, and found them to be 12. And he came hastily and told Judah. And Judah said unto his brethren, hasten you, and put on every man his sword upon his loins, and we will come over Egypt and smite them all, and let not a remnant remain. And Judah said, behold, I will destroy 3 of the streets with my strength, and you shall each destroy 1 street. And when Judah was speaking this thing, behold, the inhabitants of Egypt and all the mighty men came toward them with all sorts of musical instruments and with loud shouting.
Okay, hold up right there. Now, we always talk about our math, but this is something I can add up. 10 and 12. Y'all answer me this. Anybody, answer me this. Why did Judah say, I'll take 3 streets, and the rest of y'all, 10, take a street each? Huh? Nope. If all 12, no, you close. One more person. Anybody? Right, it's only 10 of them, but it's 12 brothers total. And they're all 12 of them are there together.
Right.
Joseph and Benjamin aren't fighting.
Right.
So so Judah is saying, I technically, if all 12 of the brothers were fighting and it was only 12 streets, each of them would have taken a street. But Judah already know.
Right.
Joseph and Judah ain't a part of this battle.
Right. So
Joseph and Benjamin. I got they part.
Right. They 2 streets.
So I got 2 streets and my street, and the rest of y'all got a street each. That's what that adds up to.
Yeah.
That's what, if they were all fighting together, we seen what Simeon and Levi did at Shechem by themselves. Slew a whole city with just the 2. Go ahead and you go ahead.
Movies like that showing like the karate movies.
Right.
You got them brothers that go in and
Right.
got their specialty.
Right.
They take on whole villages by themselves.
Whole villages. That's exactly what it is. There's only 12 streets in Egypt. And Judah like, I got these 3. Y'all go get the rest of them. Y'all go get the rest of them. Okay, what was your question? Yeah, oh yeah. Because I'm glad you said that, because I was going to say this later, that when we came out of Egypt, when Pharaoh was chasing us to the Red Sea, oh, I can't name the class we went over this with. It's on the tip of my tongue. But the point of it was, when we were at the Red Sea and Pharaoh was coming at us with 1 million people, all 12 tribes had bunched up together. So like 3 or 4 of them together said, we gonna go back to Egypt and be slaves again. A couple of other 3 or 4 of them said, we gonna cast ourselves off into the sea and drown. A couple of other ones said, we gonna do this. But when it came down to Judah and Benjamin said, let's fight. We gonna take on all 1 million of them by ourselves. The 2 of them, see, Judah and Benjamin had a special relationship, and this was before that. So Judah and Benjamin been tight, but when it came down to fight, Judah said, we gonna take on all 1 million of them. Let's get them. And Moses had to tell each tribe, each time they said something, stand still. Let the Lord do his work. Don't none of y'all go running back to Egypt. Don't none of y'all jump off of here and kill yourselves. Don't none of y'all do this. And Benjamin and Judah, don't none of y'all fight. But Judah and Benjamin was finna handle all million of them. Okay? Let's keep going.
Verse 39. And their number was 500 cavalry and 10,000 infantry, and 400 men who could fight without sword or spear.
400 Mike Tysons.
Only with their hands and strength. And all the mighty men came with great storming and shouting. And they all surrounded the sons of Jacob and terrified them. And the ground quaked at the sound of their shouting. And when the sons of Jacob saw these troops, they were greatly afraid for their lives.
Of their lives.
And Joseph did so in order to terrify the sons of Jacob to become tranquilized. And Judah, seeing some of his brethren terrified, said unto them, you scared them.
See?
Go to church.
Right.
And Judah, seeing some of his brothers terrified, said unto him, why are you afraid whilst the grace of Yah is with us?
See that? See that? And you still see is Judah. If Judah was scared, they'd have been finished.
Yeah.
But Judah like, really? Really, y'all? Come on now. Y'all know the Lord with us. Read on.
And when Judah saw all the people of Egypt surrounding them at the command of Joseph to terrify them, only Joseph commanded them, saying, do not touch any of them. Then Judah hastened and drew his sword, and uttered a loud and bitter scream. And he smote with his sword. And he sprang upon the ground, and he still continued to shout against all the people. And when he did this thing, the Lord caused the terror of Judah and his brethren to fall upon the valiant men and all the people that surrounded them.
So you see the Lord with him, right? The Lord caused him. The Lord with him. He right there. He right there. Watch this. He right there. Go ahead.
And they all fled at the sound of the shouting, and they were terrified and fell one upon the other. And many of them died as they fell. And they all fled from before Judah and his brethren, and from before Joseph. And whilst they were fleeing, Judah and his brother pursued them into the house of Pharaoh. And they all escaped. And Judah again sat before Joseph and roared at him like a lion.
The lion of the tribe of Judah.
And gave a great and tremendous shriek at him. And the shriek was heard at a distance, and all the inhabitants of Succoth heard it. And all Egypt quaked at the sound of the shriek. And also the walls of Egypt and of the land of Goshen fell in from the shaking of the earth. And Pharaoh also fell from his throne upon the ground.
Now remember last week when I said that Pharaoh had given Joseph the power to rule Egypt, and that he went into retirement? So think about Pharaoh sitting up there now. He ain't got nothing to do. For Pharaoh sitting up there on his throne. And Judah screamed, and he fell out of his seat. Fell off the throne. What is this? What happened? What happened? What's going on? What's going on? Okay? Y'all see that? Pharaoh was done working. He gave all his power to Joseph. Joseph could do anything he wants to, didn't even have to check with Pharaoh. So Pharaoh just sitting up there on his throne. If you ain't got nothing to do, you ain't got nothing to do. So what you doing? You sitting up there. And he fell off of his throne when Judah shrieked. Read that last part again.
And the shriek was heard at a distance, and all the inhabitants of Succoth heard it. And all Egypt quaked at the sound of the shriek. And also the walls of Egypt and the land of Goshen fell in from the shaking of the earth. And Pharaoh also fell from his throne upon the ground. And also all the pregnant women of Egypt and Goshen miscarried when they heard the noise of the shaking, for they were terribly afraid.
They had miscarriages, lost their babies at that sound. Y'all see that? All of them in 2 different places.
Y'all, those were earthquakes.
Keep reading.
And Pharaoh sent word saying, what is this thing that has this day happened in the land of Egypt? And they came and told him all the things from beginning to end. And Pharaoh was alarmed, and he wondered and was greatly afraid. And his fright increased when he heard all the things. And he sent unto Joseph, saying, Thou hast brought unto me the Hebrews to destroy all Egypt. What wilt thou do with that thievish slave? Send him away and let him go with his brother, and let us not perish through their evil, even we, you and all Egypt. And if thou desirest not to do this thing, cast off thee from all my valuable things, and go with them to their land. If thou delightest in it, for they will this day destroy my whole country and slay all my people. Even all the women of Egypt have miscarried through their scream. See what they have done merely by shouting and speaking. Moreover, if they fight with the sword, they will destroy the land. Now therefore choose that which thou desires, whether me or the Hebrew, whether Egypt or the land of the Hebrew.
Now you see all this is happening in one day. Y'all see this? Y'all see all this warfare is happening in this one day. And Pharaoh told him, choose up. You either gonna get down with them or you gonna stay with me. If you gonna get down with them, if you ain't gonna do what I told you to do, take off all my stuff I gave you and go with them. Go home with them. But you got to get out of here, or you gonna send them out of here for this little thief? All this for this little thief? For this chalice? Negro, please. They'll kill all my people. You and me. Choose up. But you ain't finna destroy my city. You either gonna do right or you gonna get out of here. Okay? Read on.
And they came and told Joseph all the words of Pharaoh that he had said concerning them. And Joseph was greatly afraid of the words of Pharaoh. And Judah and his brethren were still standing before Joseph, indignant and enraged. And all the sons of Jacob roared at Joseph, like the roaring of the sea and its waves. And Joseph was greatly afraid of his brother, and on account of Pharaoh.
See, now it's like, now Joseph is stuck. He's stuck now. He in the middle of the fence. Now it's decision time. Now it's time for me to do what I'm supposed to do. Now I got to go ahead and execute my plan and finish this up. Because now Pharaoh mad at me and they finna whoop my tail. Okay? So now it's time for me, because I know I don't want this whooping from them. I don't want this whooping from them, and now my boss mad at me. Okay? Read on.
And Joseph sought a pretext to make himself known unto his brother, lest they should destroy all Egypt. And Joseph commanded his son Manasseh. And Manasseh went and approached Judah and placed his hand upon his shoulder. Shalom, man. And the anger of Judah was still. And Judah said unto his brother, let no one of you say that this is an act of an Egyptian youth, for this is the work of my father's house. And Joseph, seeing and knowing that Judah's anger was still, he approached to speak unto Judah in the language of mildness.
Mildness. Excuse me, sir. Pee Wee Herman-ish. You see what I'm saying? Ain't no more tough talk. Ain't no more tough talk like he was talking earlier. Now it's like, can I get you something to drink? You know, you want a donut? You know what I'm saying? Right. Now that's how he's talking to him. Read on.
And Joseph said unto Judah, surely you speak truth and have this day verified your assertions concerning your strength. And may your God who delighteth in you increase your welfare. But tell me truly, why from amongst all thy brethren dost thou wrangle with me on account of the lad? As none of them have spoken one word to me concerning him. And Judah answered Joseph, saying, surely thou must know that I was security for the lad to his father, saying, if I brought him not unto him, I should bear his blame forever. Therefore I have approached thee from amongst all my brethren, for I saw that thou wast unwilling to suffer him to go from thee. Now therefore may I find grace in thy sight, that thou shalt send him to go with us. And behold, I will remain as a substitute for him, and serve thee in whatever thou desirest. For wheresoever thou shalt send me, I will go to serve thee with great energy. Send me now to a mighty king who has rebelled against thee, and thou shalt know what I will do unto him and his land. Although he may have cavalry and infantry, or an exceeding mighty people, I will slay them all and bring their king's head before thee.
Y'all see that? So you see that? Right. She's like, right. You got a problem? I'll take care of it. Right.
Yeah.
Bottom line, by himself. Keep reading.
Dost thou not know, or hast thou not heard, that our father Abraham with his servant Eleazar smote all the kings of Elam with their hosts in one night? They left not one remaining. And ever since that day our father's strength was given unto us for an inheritance, for us and our seed forever.
Forever. So y'all see that forever, right? So that means every man in here has this same strength. Okay? Every man has this same. So it should not be no soft inwards amongst us. But we see what this strength does out here in the street. You see what I'm saying? We see how we act up out here in the street. That's why we act the way we act. Because this is still our daddy to all of us. This is still our daddy, our father, straight bloodline, whom our Messiah came from. All of us men have this strength that's in us forever. And we know when it happens with us. Read on.
Verse 61. And Joseph answered, said, you speak truth, and falsehood is not in your mouth. For it was also told unto us that the Hebrews have power, and that the Lord their God delighted much in them. And who then can stand before them? However, on this condition will I send your brother, if you will bring before me his brother, the son of his mother, of whom you said that he had gone from you down to Egypt. And it shall come to pass, when you bring unto me his brother, I will take him in his stead, because not one of you was security for him to your father. And when he shall come unto me, I will then send with you his brother, for whom you have been security.
Y'all understand what he's saying to him right there? Y'all get that, right? You bring me Joseph, and I'll let you have Benjamin. Read on.
And Judah's anger was kindled against Joseph when he spoke this thing, and his eyes dropped blood with anger. And he said unto his brethren, how doth this man this day seek his own destruction and that of all Egypt?
He's still playing with me. Judah got so mad right here when Joseph told him to do that. He cried blood. He shed tears of blood. He's like, this N-word is still playing with me. If I knew what Joseph was, I would have had Joseph. I done told you already, if Joseph, we found him and he was a slave of someone, we would pay for his freedom. If the man would not accept our payment for his freedom, we was going to take him anyway. So now he's still playing with him. But here it comes, y'all. Read on.
Verse 64. And Simeon answered Joseph, saying, did we not tell thee at first that we knew not the particular spot to which he went, and whether he be dead or alive, and wherefore speaketh my Lord like unto these things? And Joseph, observing the countenance of Judah, discerned that his anger began to kindle when he spoke unto him, saying, bring unto me your brother instead of this brother.
See, Joseph's really scared because he's seen Judah get that pissed off. That he cried blood. He's like, I can't keep messing with him no more because he's gonna break my jaw.
Right.
See what I'm saying? I can't say nothing else to him no more because this nigga gonna steal on me. All right, read on.
And Joseph said unto his brother, surely you said that your brother was either dead or lost. Now if I should call him this day and he should come before you, would you give him unto me instead of his brother? And Joseph began to speak and call out, Joseph, Joseph, come this day before me and appear to thy brethren and sit before them. And when Joseph spoke this thing before them, they looked each a different way to see from whence Joseph would come before them. And Joseph observed all their acts and said unto them, why do you look here and there? I am Joseph whom you sold to each. Now therefore let it not grieve you that ye sold me. For as a support during the famine did Yah send me before you.
See that?
And his brethren were terrified at him when they heard the words of Joseph. And Judah was exceedingly terrified at him. And Benjamin heard the words of Joseph. He was before them in the inner part of the house. And Benjamin ran unto Joseph his brother, and embraced him, and fell on his neck, and they wept. And when Joseph saw that Benjamin had fallen on his brother's neck, and wept with him, they also fell upon Joseph and embraced him. And they wept a great weeping with Joseph.
Boy, that's a sight to see, boy. Whew. That'd have been a sight to see.
So y'all, for time's sake, because we got to get into some, we'll skip down a little bit, cut through here.
Okay.
And y'all see that y'all continue to read the rest of this chapter, because you're going to see Pharaoh got in on, man, these your brothers. So they gave them all gifts. And you'll see that when y'all read the rest of this chapter, that when they went back home to go get Jacob to bring him back, they sent so many gifts. They sent clothes, they sent chain. I mean, they sent Gucci, they sent, you know, it was all of the stuff from Egypt. When y'all read it, Prada, gators, snakes, lizards, all Stacey Adams, all the dangerous animal shoes. They were sending them in gold, and they sent Dinah changes of clothes, and you see all that. And when Joseph come back, so we just gonna get into a little bit of 55, and then we got to get into 56, the funeral of Jacob's death. Because I got to get into this lesson, fill in the blanks, and we're going to get right back into Jasher though, but 36th chapter, and there's some things in there, some events that's going on just in the 36th chapter. There's only a few verses that we have to break down law in there, and then I just want to run through those laws so we get a clear understanding of the difference of word etymology. And you're going to hear this from a lot of Israelites. They're going to ask you, what does it say in the Hebrew? That's not your concern first and foremost. The first concern is, what does it say in the law? Sin is what?
Transgression of the law.
Where there's no law, there's no what?
Sin.
So if word etymology dictates what a sin may be, it may be like what you have religion do that dictates what a sin is, but it can't be found written. If it ain't written nowhere, it's not a sin.
Right.
Sin is what?
Transgression of the law.
If it ain't no law, it ain't no sin. So y'all, we want to get that clear understanding of what the Messiah was saying when he's talking about nothing supersedes the law, because the law of the language of Hebrew must go according to the law, because the law tells you how to speak Hebrew. The law tells you how to operate the gift of wisdom, the gift of teaching, the gift of prophecy, but it's law. What is word etymology in the Ark of the Covenant? What was in the Ark of the Covenant? What is word etymology? What is the Hebrew concordance in there?
Nope.
What was in the Ark of the Covenant?
10 Commandments.
The what was in there?
The 10 Commandments.
And the manna bread and Aaron's rod that budded. That's what's in the law of God, because it represented the Most High. That's why the Levites carried it. That was the symbol of the Most High on earth. And it wasn't word etymology in there. If this comes down to language, y'all, we through. Especially for those that's born in Mississippi, because we country as hell. You will never pronounce a word right. No, it's Yahweh. Yaka? Yaku? Boy, you country as hell, you ain't gonna get into heaven. No, it don't say, keep my language, and thou shalt live.
You ain't gonna get into heaven.
Right. So y'all, we just wanted to...
You stopped it at the right spot.
Yeah, so just y'all read the rest of that because this got... and then y'all, it talks about Jacob, 55 chapter, talks about him settling in to Egypt. And we went to Goshen, all of 55. We took the land of Goshen, like we got Goshen in here. And what Goshen is the wealthiest land in there. So it looks like we're in the ghetto. But it's the wealthiest land because every other nation come here and build their wealth off of us, and then they move out there. Arabs on every gas station around here, but do they live on our blocks?
Nope.
And y'all seen a family of Arabs living on Coke Brilliant in St. Louis Avenue?
Nope.
I'm talking about, have y'all seen the pawn shop owners living on Sarah?
Nope.
Because it's a gold mine down here. You spend 90 billion and you don't consume that, and you don't own nothing. And when we talking about own, I ain't talking about a mom and pop store. I'm talking about like Black Wall Street was.
Right.
And you really didn't own that because you were playing with their money. Wasn't no pictures of no money. Wasn't no 50s with James Brown on it, and no 20s with Harriet Tubman, or no Frederick Douglass 5s. It's still with white presidents on the money, even doing Black Wall Street. Y'all understand that? Because who the ruler of the house, everybody else is tributary.
Right.
No matter how well you doing, you still tributary.
Right.
So we just wanted to get that understanding, y'all, of what was taking place here once we went to Goshen, and we were in Goshen. All the plagues hit all of Egypt, except where? Goshen. Except Goshen. Just like now, no tornadoes, no flood waters come through Goshen.
Right. Right.
Flooding up to the arch, all out in Creve Coeur, water came up to the arch step, and East St. Louis dikes are never manned. They don't even go to pack them once a year. They just leave them just like they would, and the Corps engineers scratching their head like this. How is the water like this out in Creve Coeur? We ain't did no work there. Look at them dikes. They ain't manned. They got just trash, and people been barbecuing over there. And the water won't go into East St. Louis. So y'all, that's what he talking about when he protected us. So but wanted to get into that 56. Yeah.
Right. So y'all continue through. You'll see that when he went back, like he said, he took all the gifts and things. Benjamin told him, I got 10 sons. He sent all 10 of his sons things, and everybody in the family. And then you read this 50. So 55. So we gonna skip right up to 56 to finish this off, because the class was titled "The Sons of Israel and the Death of Jacob." One of the two, flip flop. The sons of Jacob and the death of Israel. Right. That was the class. Right. So we're gonna read some of this 56, and that's gonna be the end of my class, where he's gonna take over and and do some continuation of it. So let's get right into this.
That's when you said, but that was long.
We supposed to do two.
Yeah, we supposed to do two. Okay. Yes, sir.
Genesis chapter 56, verse 1. And Jacob lived in the land of Egypt 17 years. And the days of Jacob and the years of his life were 147 years. At that time, Jacob was attacked with that illness, of which he died, and he sent and called for his son Joseph from Egypt. And Joseph his son came from Egypt, and Joseph came into his father.
So what happened here, where we skipped it, what happened was Pharaoh told Joseph to give them the best of the land, because when he sent back, Jacob said, I want to go see my son before I die, but I don't want to go down there and stay. And the Lord told him, don't be afraid to leave your land. Go on down there and live out the rest of your days with your son, because he's been gone for 12 years. Now go on down there and live with him. Okay, so that's when they was given the land of Goshen. So when they was given the land of Goshen, because Jacob wanted to go see his son in Egypt, because he wanted to make sure that his son stayed with his teachings. of what Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, they all taught their sons and their sons' sons and their sons' sons. And Jacob wanted to make sure Joseph knew that and still stayed with the Lord, stayed with the Most High. And the Most High told him, you ain't even got to worry about that. That boy been with me the whole time. Okay? So squash that concern. Squash that. Go on down there and live the rest of your days with your son. So that's where we're at right now. So he said that he lived in the land down there 17 years before now it's time for him to yield up the ghost. Read on now.
Verse 3, Jacob said unto Joseph and unto his sons, behold, I die, and the God of your ancestors will visit you and bring you back to the land which the Elohim sware to give unto you and unto your children after you. Now therefore, when I am dead, bury me in the cave which is in Mishpah, in Hebron, in the land of Canaan, near my ancestors. And Jacob made his sons swear to bury him in Mishpah, in Hebron, and his sons swore unto him concerning this thing. And he commanded them, saying, serve the Elohim your power, for he will deliver your fathers, for who delivered your fathers will also deliver you from all trouble.
So you see that? Like I said, with Judah and his strength to his sons forever, this is the same thing that applies here. We got problems, the Lord will deliver us from them. We his people. You do what he said in Matthew 6:33. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. That's your one job to do. And he say, I got you from all your troubles. You just keep serving me. I'll take care of you. That's what he did. That's what his Messiah, his son, did for us. By living in that, it says that he prayed in Matthew. I'm stuttering now. 17, when he said, I pray not for the world.
Right.
I pray
John
for them.
17.
Yeah, John 17. I pray for them. I pray not for the world. It says he came and saved his people. Yeah. Okay? He came and died and rose 3 days later for his people. So just what we read right there, that he will deliver us from all our troubles. That still applies to you today. Each and every one of us in here, and each and every one of us in that camera that's looking, that still applies to you to this very day. So you call on his name, and he right there. Just do what you're supposed to do. Read on.
Verse 6, and Jacob said, call all your children unto me, and all your children, and all the children of Jacob's sons came and sat before him. And Jacob blessed them, and he said unto them, that the Lord God of your fathers shall grant you 1,000 times as much, and bless you. And may he give you the blessings of your father Abraham. And all the children of Jacob's sons went forth on that day after he had blessed them. And on the next day, Jacob again called for his sons, and they all assembled and came to him and sat before him. And Jacob on that day blessed his sons before his death. Each man did he bless according to his blessing. Behold, it is written in the book of the law.
In the book of the what?
In the book of the law of the Lord appertaining to Israel.
So I just want to read verse 1 of Genesis 49 because we like to go back to what the majority of people have, and that's the 66.
Trust me, brother. Right. But trust me, read verse 8 first before you do that.
Verse 1?
No.
What?
Let him read 8.
Okay, go
Let
ahead.
him read 8. Then do what you do.
Okay, all right, go ahead, bro.
Verse 8. And Jacob said unto Judah, I know, my son, that thou art a mighty man for thy brethren. Reign over them, and thy sons shall reign over their sons forever.
Now read.
So now what we want to do is Genesis 49 and 1.
Read 4.
through 4. And Jacob called unto his sons and said, gather yourselves together. So y'all see we on the same exact page with the book of Jasher and the Bible. We're reading the same exact language. The language don't change. Gather yourselves together that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the what days? Saturday. So y'all, the prophecies were for our time. Y'all have to understand that Jacob got a vision way down the line at the end of the line for Judah. I mean for all his sons. Gather yourselves together and hear, ye sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Israel your father. Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity, and the excellency of power, because that's what the firstborn son, that gift was given to him, like you know, David passed on, and all of the king, you would pass that on to your firstborn sons. That's the inheritance. That's why the law say, if a man have a wife and don't have no children by her, and then he have another wife, and then he have a child by her, then his first wife have a baby, that baby still can't leapfrog his firstborn child as far as inheritance go, because he's still the firstborn, even though he didn't come from the first wife. And then some will say, well, why was Isaac blessed of Abraham for all of the wealth versus Ishmael, who was truly his firstborn son? Well, that's where you understand Galatians. It says she was the bondwoman, Hagar, and her son. The promise was for Abraham to have Sarah, to have a son in her old age, but Sarah tripped. She didn't believe the angel. She laughed. That's the only reason Hagar came into this program. That program wouldn't even be involved. We wouldn't even be talking about that had she just believed the angel. Hagar, this would be a moot point we talking about. But you see, Abraham took care of Ishmael because he's not a deadbeat dad, nor is the Messiah, nor is any men of Israel what we would consider deadbeat dads, to the point that where you get to the point that where you never care about your short leggings. That's a problem. That's a major problem, because you see all throughout here, we see men, what is called pulling their feet up in their bed with their children around them. That's the way to go out. You can tell them what to do, not to do before you go, and the last thing they gather around, y'all talking about the power of the Most High. That's what men drew their feet up into the bed. You know, I want to just ask the whole, all of this assembly and the worldwide audience to keep prayers going for Brother Jacob and his brother Emmanuel, because he's reaching that transition stage. But he said he just thanked the Most High so much that the whole family is over there while he has his feet drawn in his bed. They singing them psalms and just rapping with them. Versus you just hear somebody got killed in a car accident and they gone. Y'all, this was the way to see your loved ones go, that you standing around. Yeah, it gonna hurt. That's what death is, a sting. Stings hurt, don't it? I challenge any of y'all, take 10 paper cuts in a row if you tough. Nick Rose pointing that bullet wounds right here. I got little Billy and them hit me right here. Right. They got me over here on 4-5 field right here. But get a sharp piece of paper, a nice piece of copying paper, and just start paper cut and watch the difference. He won't even mention that. They won't even be on his tough catalog. Don't want a paper cut, because for some reason it shoot up to your head and then it go back down to your big toe. What? And you don't even see it bleeding. You just know you ain't gonna be able to dig a booger or reach for change. You're like, hey. Oh. What verse was we in?
Did you read what before? Read the Genesis?
Yeah, did I go through 4? Okay, unstable as water. And then it goes to Simeon and tell they are instruments of cruelty. And when you get into Jasher 33, you will see that it was already ordained for them to take Shechem and his family, but they didn't do it like they were supposed to. They let them make a covenant with our God, and then they did it. Y'all, and that's the most dangerous thing you can do with our God. To make a covenant with somebody and they get circumcised, you bring them into the fold only to kill them. So that's why Levi and Simeon fell off. Next is Judah. Verse 8, I'm just going to read verse 8.
Can read forward. The scepter not departed.
Okay. Simeon and Levi, brother, instrument cruelly. O my soul, come not thou to their secret, unto their assembly mine honor. Be not thou united. For in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they dig down the wall. So he's saying, in mind, the way they did me, I made a covenant with my sons. I say, look, they gonna join us for what they did to Dinah. That's honorable. He took our sister, so they gonna follow a law. He took a virgin, he gonna marry her for life. They like, no, he treated her like a whore, though. He like, but look, they gonna wipe us out. Dad, I ain't worried about none of that, Dad. You get weak. Now, they shouldn't treat our sister like that. He like, we made the covenant with Abraham, bro. We can't go back on that. I don't care how angry y'all are. And Levi and Simeon said, look, Dad about on his way out here anyway. We getting them. We getting them Hamites. You can believe that. You got my word on that. And they slaughtered them like while their legs up in the air. You think about this. If any of you was circumcised after 8 days, you know what I'm talking about. Everybody was walking like Fred Samples, and they went in and attacked. So it don't look like the strength of God is with you. It looked like you handicapped an individual and then took their kingdom. You can't talk about that. Joseph can't give you, Jacob can't pass the blessing on to you next in line behind covenant, vow breaking with another. What the rest of the nation's gonna see? Don't join up with them. No, they make a covenant and then they break it with you and kill you.
Like Negroes do.
So
you see, it was the anger that made them not realize the same with Joseph.
Same thing with
Joseph and Judah. If he wasn't angry, he'd have realized, wait a minute, how you know all of this stuff?
But too angry.
But too angry to hear all that.
Verse 8. Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. Judah is a lion's whelp from the prey, my son. Thou art gone up. He stooped down. He couched as a lion, as an old lion who shall rouse him up. The scepter, the rulership, shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet until Shiloh come. And unto him shall be the gathering of the people be. So we know Shiloh is Messiah. So Judah got it on lock until Messiah comes. So America's got the bulk of Judah. That's how they built it up on the strength. Then Judah was escaping to the four corners of the earth, and we all over the four corners now. But the strength of Judah is in the head of who's ruling the world empire, so to speak. It keeps the balance there. But we get to see the yoke in our neck, because you ain't getting these reports from over in England, is you? Of brothers being shot down reaching for their license or different things. No, I'm talking about on a consistent basis. That news is coming from here. We getting a few from there. But I'm talking about all the slave pictures of the hanging and the castrating. Ain't no museums over there. So the bulk and the strength is here, and then all of the other tribes. Judah plays for who? America, don't they? Now you can get a Hamite come here. He'll be from Nigeria. They call Akeem Olajuwon, the Nigerian train or whatever he was, Nightmare. But they said he was from Nigeria. Christian Okoye that played with the Kansas City Chiefs, the Nigerian Nightmare. What do they call Michael Jordan? The Nigerian Dunkster. How about the Zimbabwe Flyer? I mean, if he's from Africa, what nation is he from then?
So what's the most famous sign that there was about the Olympics?
You know, with John Carlos. So y'all, we see here of how all the other nations look to the tribes in America. And it said Judah went wholly into captivity. The bulk of Judah went into what we call bondage. Slavery is different than bondage. Slavery, you could have a Hebrew servant for 7 years. Like Jeffrey on Fresh Prince. When those 7 years up, he free to go. If he married a wife while in there, he owned his wife too. He can either let both of them go, or he can say, well, the wife got to stay, you can go. Mm-hmm. Those were the rules of slavery for 7 years, but after 7 years, you had to release them anyway. Mm-hmm. But bondage, when you look it up in the dictionary, it's going to say, as unto the Israelites. Mm-hmm. Bondage is totally different. That means you work for 0 cents an hour, you don't get nothing. One pair of shoes from kindergarten to the 12th grade. One pair of shoes. So you can cut the toe out of them and half your foot be hanging over the ear, but at least you got a heel. Mm-hmm. One pair of breeches. 2nd grade breeches, and you in high school. So you talking about Huck Finn's, boy, you look like you got on some Daisy Dukes now. Before they bought you another pair. Hey, y'all. So prophecy tell us who we are, not you can identify and we can point and say right here it says they will be captive in America. It tells you what America is going to be like. They're going to be just like Egypt. Ain't no other country on the nation housing slaves with the Egypt on the back of their money. The capital is not set up. The capital set up obelisk. Abraham Lincoln sit on thrones, so does all the other ones, just like Pharaoh and them sitting on thrones. It's a mirror image of Egypt. What would you think about it?
I was watching a lot of old black and white movies, right? And these movies have black chauffeurs that they, even though they got Gentile women and children in the back seat, and the brothers was wearing the top hats and the tuxedos and stuff, and they got them longer than this table convertibles, right? And they, all the brothers were chauffeurs. And I've said to myself, you can't tell me that these brothers was riding down the street leaning, looking at each other like, yeah, man. Like we ride our own Cadillac.
Yes, sir.
They saying that. See, I might got these white folks in the back seat, but I'm driving.
Right. That's how they looked at it. Right. I'm driving what you driving?
With these big gangster white walls and all that. Yeah, this me, dog.
But y'all, we gonna skip down to this 56, and this is Joseph after he get it. Y'all read Genesis 49, and y'all read this Jasher 56 up into verse 27, and then because Joseph dead, but what we need y'all to do is see the funeral process.
Right.
You know, of who had the most exquisite funeral on planet Earth ever until this day. And then y'all just want to jump right back into Jasher 36, and we're going to hit a lot of stuff out of the script, because it's something about law I want y'all to understand, that it'll separate word etymology. I mean, anything about the Hebrew language. Y'all don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't speak Hebrew. I'm just saying speaking Hebrew ain't going to stop you from sinning.
Sure ain't.
There's no word you can say that's going to make you stop stealing if you a thief. Right. What Hebrew word you going to say?
You don't even know the word for repentance or forgive me in Hebrew.
Right. Well, and if you did, if you still don't do it right, what does that mean? You just talking in the air, ain't you? Mm-hmm. It's just words coming out of your mouth because you know. What does it say now? What does it mean though? What am I supposed to do once I learn the word in Hebrew? What is my behavior? Look, they teach a flea doctrine. We got to get out of America. Then how do you flee fornication? Mm-hmm. What land do we run to be free of
nowhere
of thinking about sexual things that we shouldn't be thinking about? Where do you flee to that land?
You can't run from yourself.
Well, no, I'm just asking, where is that land? If you can flee America, you flee Babylon, how do you flee fornication? Mm-hmm. Go ahead, bro.
I'm saying we fled America, we flee in America to go to Ghana, but you got a cell phone.
Yeah.
Right. Babylon is not just a place, it's a
right.
system.
Right.
So you got a cell phone tracking your location, and you still dependent on your cell phone. You flee over to Ghana, you still calling back over here to the land of your captivity. Look, talking to the other people.
The promise is, don't be like the Canaanites, but I'm gonna give you the Canaanites' land, and I want you to live there while they there.
Oh man.
Do you understand what the Most High is doing? What he's doing is light is going to overpower darkness. I need the light to overpower the most darkest place on planet Earth, and it's the land of Canaan. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. A man will get with a horse like it's a woman in Canaan, but I want y'all to go live there.
Right. Get this question, and we're gonna keep moving.
And show the light to them Canaanites, so they won't have an excuse on Judgment Day. Go ahead, bro. Huh? Some of them are still in the land, because the land of Canaan is Jerusalem. It still has its name there. You see the Messiah call it Jerusalem, but he still calls it the land of Canaan, because the law say you can't remove a man's landmark. You can't move the land of Canaan out until the world changes over. And then the world is given, and say from that point on, it should be called the Lord our righteousness there. And there's no more Canaanite in the house of the Lord. Zechariah 14, right? So that's what he's saying. Once they out of there, then we won't have to worry about sin. But we got to attack sin in where the Garden of Eden was. Jerusalem is where the Garden of Eden was.
If we didn't skip over it in these two chapters that we skipped, you're going to see your answer. You're going to see your answer in what we finna read.
Yeah, skip down. Go ahead, man. Pick it up at 27.
27.
So skip down to 27.
Yeah. Y'all read in between, y'all, because I want to get into this real quickly, because we're into the 3 o'clock hour.
Go ahead.
You want to read verse 9?
No.
Go ahead. Well, that's good, because that's what we read in Joshua 10:13. Teach your sons how to use the bow.
That's where it is.
Verse 9. So you see that's what is. This is what it was said in the Bible as well. But verse 9, what we're talking about is, you can't use that like it's today. You can't go use a bow and arrow today. Some Israelite camps teaching we supposed to be walking around with bow and arrows. Who you think you gonna kill with a bow and arrows? I mean, you good, you can get a few hiding and they may not hear it coming. But all they gotta do, we heard the shh from right there. If you unload with a 20 clip, them bushes gonna be set on fire where you at, ain't it? I guarantee you them arrows gonna be left. But you can get everybody in St. Louis to get a bundle of arrows and shoot it at a nuclear warhead and see what happens.
Pink.
Go ahead.
26, right?
Yeah.
We skipped
Jasher
27.
56 and 27. Well, and Jacob has died after he's given all the sons the blessing. He's died. Read Genesis 49 and they're going to match up perfectly together. But we just going to jump down to the funeral. Okay. So we understand there's laws about how long you can mourn. You can't mourn past a certain day, or you grieve yourself to death, and then you go to the judgment throne crying about this individual, and you know they have to die.
Why the Lord have to take you?
Right.
Better watch your mouth.
Better watch your mouth. Go ahead.
And also, verse 27, and also all the people of Egypt who knew Jacob came all on that day when they heard this thing. And all Egypt wept for many days. And also from the land of Canaan did the women come unto Egypt when they heard that Jacob was dead. And they wept for him in Egypt for 70 days.
How many days?
70 days.
So there's mourning that you weep for great men. They go a certain, like you see this nation have people laid out in state for so many days, finally the funeral 2 weeks later.
Right.
Go ahead.
And it came to pass after this that Joseph commanded his servants, the doctors, to embalm his father with myrrh and frankincense and all manner of incense and perfume. And the doctors embalmed Jacob as Joseph had commanded them.
So because it's telling you they mourn for him 70 days, so he ain't in the ground, y'all. Yeah. He's out of the ground for 2 months and 10 days. He's out of the ground, so he has to be embalmed, or he gonna be stinking like Lazarus had to be put in there. Say, 4 days, he's stinking if we go up in there.
Right.
So that embalming, but look, we didn't embalm in our culture. But we see Joseph doing is he breaking the law of God. No, because we look at what it's saying, it says, don't come to a dead body, then that means we can't have no morticians. If you look at it, the whole thing like that, you know what I'm saying? Just throw a broad statement out there, then who gonna be the mortician?
Right.
Who gonna bury the dead? Somebody got to be unclean.
Right.
If Big Mama died in the house right now, while we eating dinner, we just gonna keep eating. I ain't touching them. Pass me them biscuits. Well, look, I ain't touching. We ain't supposed to touch the dead. So what's she gonna do? Stay there? That's why we talking about the law. You can read words, but until you understand the law, and when it say Numbers 28 that the priests profane the Sabbath every week, and they are blameless. How? Because they have to kill animals and sacrifice every day of the week, and Saturday included. They have to do it, but they're blameless for working on the Sabbath. See, your law has rules, and that's why they call statutes and judgment. You got a law, and here are the statutes and judgments within that law. Ain't got nothing to do with how well you speak it. It's how well you perform the law. Let's get some more. Go ahead.
Verse 30. And all the people of Egypt and the elders and all the inhabitants of the land of Goshen wept and mourned over Jacob. And all his sons and the children of his household lamented and mourned over their father Jacob many days. And after the days of his weeping had passed away, at the end of 70 days, Joseph said unto Pharaoh, I will go up and bury my father in the land of Canaan, as he made me swear.
In the land of where?
In the land of Canaan.
Look, it's been called Jerusalem before that, but he's still naming it after the landowners. It's still called the land of Canaan to this day. If somebody say the land of Canaan, oh, Jerusalem, you mean the land of Canaan. Okay. Go ahead, bro.
As he made me swear, and then I will return. And Pharaoh sent Joseph, saying, Go up and bury thy father, as he said, and as he made thee swear. And Joseph rose up with all his brethren to go to the land of Canaan to bury their father, Jacob, as he had commanded them. And Pharaoh commanded it should be proclaimed throughout Egypt, saying, Whoever goeth not up with Joseph and his brethren to the land of Canaan to bury Jacob shall die.
See, that's what the president put out.
Proclamation.
Everybody out here who ain't going, everybody need to go. And y'all, we're talking about the nobles and the hierarchy, so to speak, because you can't leave Egypt unmanned.
Right.
He's just saying, all y'all in power position, all you senators and whoever else, get in the line, get in the procession, get in your car, put the funeral tag up there, get in line.
Willie the Wino had to
Go, yes sir, go ahead.
And all Egypt heard of Pharaoh's proclamation. And they all rose up together, and all the servants of Pharaoh, and the elders of his house, and all the elders of the land of Egypt went up with Joseph, and all the officers and nobles of Pharaoh went up as the servants of Joseph, and they went to bury Jacob in the land of Canaan.
Because Jacob told him, take my bones up, don't leave me here. Well, Joseph said that too, so he's still giving a command, touch dead bones, but y'all, that ain't what it said. It's saying you can't touch a dead body. And if you did, you're only unclean to even touching a dead body don't make you unclean for the rest of the time, because it's contamination period. That's all it's saying. If you go around a dead person, you have till sundown to see if contamination on you. It says the same thing about when a man and a woman get together. You're unclean to even. That don't mean you're defiled. We just need this many hours to go by to see if you start scratching or itching. Because when you scratch there or itch there, you will do it. It just don't know. You'll just be in the middle of a line getting groceries and just start scratching.
Y'all seen brothers walking down the street with their hands in their pants? Both hands.
I mean, it's uncontrollable. It's like it's something just jump out at you and say, scratch wildly right now, don't care who looking. So you have to wait because it's contamination period, because you're dealing with blood. So you have to wait till evening. By evening, look, what I heard men tell me that before the sun rise, it wake them up and they had to go to the doctor and get that fixed. That's what I heard. But let's keep reading. Go ahead.
You talking about flaming?
Yeah, flaming. Go ahead.
Verse 35. And the sons of Jacob carried the briar upon which he lay, according to all that their father commanded them. So did his sons unto him.
So he had told them how to walk with his casket. I want 3 of y'all on this side, 3 in the front, 3 in the back, 3 on this side. I want my 12 sons to carry my casket just like this. So the briar is a casket. Go ahead.
It's going to be in order though.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. Go ahead.
And the briar was of pure gold. And it was inlaid around about with onyx stones and bdellium. And the covering of the briar was gold woven work, joining with threads, and over them were hooks of onyx stones and bdellium.
Y'all talking about a coffin, y'all. Go ahead.
Woven.
What you got, AZ?
I was just saying, you know, the Venus and went over and pillaged the village.
Oh, boy, look here, looking for that. Boy, you talking about a grave robber. Boy, you be set for life. Go ahead.
And Joseph placed upon the head of his father, Jacob, a large golden crown, and he put a golden scepter in his hand. And they surrounded the bride, as was the custom of kings during their lives. And all the troops of Egypt went before him in this array. At first, all the mighty men of Pharaoh.
They first up. They first up. All Pharaoh's mighty men.
Yeah.
They went forth first. Keep going.
And the mighty men of Joseph, and after them the rest of the inhabitants of Egypt, and they were all girded with swords and equipped with coats of mail, and the trappings of war were upon them.
So they dressed out and they military. That's why they still see these military funerals. And they still shoot guns and all that type of stuff. They come out fully prepared for war, but they come out with a full array on of the military to give him this honor for his funeral.
Full battle array.
That's right.
And all the weepers and mourners went at a distance opposite to the bride, going and weeping and lamenting. And the rest of the people went after the bride.
So they had weepers out there, y'all, like Wanda be on Good Times, and she crying on everything. It was a whole professional weepers. You know, every time you see her acting, she looked like she been the same age since she been on TV. I don't care what movie she's starring in. Don't drink your juice in the hood. She looked the same age on the first Good Times episode, and she always crying.
Right.
So, you know, and that's what gets you going to the funerals today. They got weepers that sit up front. Soon as they play this one jam, there it goes. There it goes. It's on now and it's popping. Go ahead, bro.
Get everybody in the mood.
Yeah, go ahead. Absolutely, sir. Go ahead.
Verse 40. And Joseph and his household went together near the bride, barefooted and weeping. And the rest of Joseph's servants went around him. Each man had his ornaments upon him, and they were all armed with their weapons of war.
And you see, Joseph and his house were barefooted because this morning, because like we had some brothers that was misunderstanding the what Paul was talking about in 1 Corinthians 11 when he said, men uncover your head and women cover your head when praying and prophesying in assembly. So he said, based off of I believe it was 2 Kings 14. I'll find it though real quick. And Jeremiah also 8th chapter where it talks about mourning, and the first 2 things about when you're dealing with mourning is David was barefooted and his head was uncovered. So in like manner like this, that's the only reason they didn't cover in the assembly. They just searched for 2 scriptures that said no head coverings around people, but you have to look at what the context is talking about. You just search for no covering and people around in the assembly. But David was mourning. He was barefooted, and so was his men, and they were sitting in dust, sackcloth, and ashes. And the same thing said in Jeremiah about mourning when you get barefooted. So when you see barefoot and crying, it's mourning laws for that. Now, if you ain't gonna take your head covering off because you're reading that, well, do the other part then, pull your shoes off then. You can't do half of it and point at us and say you doing it wrong. You do it right then. Pull your shoes off if you pull the scripture then. You ain't got nothing on your head while you got feet on your shoes on your feet. I was just seeing with Zed paying attention. But y'all know what I'm saying. So y'all don't let them trap you up with that. But I'll get those 2 to where you see and David and his men uncovered. I mean covered their heads. But you only do that in mourning. Barefoot and you cover up. You know, it's a sign of weeping. I'm in trouble here. I'm mourning. But you can't use that for the assembly we talking about here. Ain't no mourning in here. Unless we was having a funeral in here. Then all of us better be covered up, men, and then have no shoes on. And the casket right there. Other than that, you taking the script out of context. You just search for the word cover and uncover and found 2 and say, I'll run with these. Well, it got subject matter at the beginning. Y'all, we always tell you to make sure you understanding it right. If they give you 1 verse, bag it up 3 or move forward 3, and you'll get back into the subject matter of what's at hand. of what the scripture is talking about, because that's it. Let me show you word after mine. This Hebrew word right here. So when you read this in the bosom, that means a woman. Well, what about John in the bosom of the Father, the Messiah in the bosom of the Father? What are you talking about then? How does it apply to that then? A man in the bosom of another man, and it ain't homosexuality. How does that apply to the law? What you talking? Let's read some more. What you got, AZ? Go ahead.
Verse 41.
What it say?
And 50 of Jacob's servants went in the front of the bride, and they strewed along the road myrrh and aloe, and all manner of perfume. And all the sons of Jacob that carried the bride walked upon the perfume.
Right.
And the servants of Jacob went before them, strewing the perfume along the road.
So if y'all remember coming to America when they throw the rose petals down, this is what they was doing for Jacob, throwing rose petals down the whole way to the land of Canaan from Egypt. Throwing the rose petals down, perfume is smelling good. Go ahead.
And Joseph went up with the heavy camp, and they did after this manner every day until they reached the land of Canaan. And they came to the threshing floor of Atad, which was on the other side of Jordan. And they mourned an exceeding great and heavy mourning.
Just in time for some heavy reading. Go ahead.
All the kings of Canaan heard of all this thing, and they went all forth, each man from his house, 31 kings of Canaan, and they all came with their men to mourn and weep over Jacob. And all the kings beheld Jacob's bride, and behold, Joseph's crown was appointed, and they also put their crowns upon the bride, and encircled it with crowns.
So as they carried, Joseph had put his crown on his daddy's coffin. When all the kings of Canaan came, they did the same thing. It filled up the whole coffin procession with their crowns. That's how they honored this man. They took their own crowns off their heads and put it on his coffin,
Right.
so to speak, as they going through this procession.
Right. So y'all, we're going to skip down a little bit again. As you see, we're going down. Now it comes to, as they get to the land of Canaan, guess who will they run into? Esau. And now the squab is about, y'all can't bury him in that spot that Abraham paid for. That spot belonged to me. I'm firstborn of Isaac.
So the two verses down, Esau show up on the scene.
Yes, sir. So when y'all read the rest of it, we're going to jump down for time's sake. You'll see that it got to be an argument. Jump down to verse 50.
Hold back, hold up. Go back. Yeah, 50 good.
Yeah.
Verse 50. And they came unto Kereth Arba, to the cave. And as they came, Esau stood with his sons against Joseph and his brethren as a hindrance in the cave, saying, Jacob shall not be buried therein, for it belongeth to us and to our father.
Right.
And Joseph and his brethren heard the words of Esau's son, and they were exceedingly wroth. And Joseph approached unto Esau, saying, what is this thing which they have spoken?
Man, what the hell is you talking about?
Right. Because y'all remember right here, when their father Isaac died,
Right.
Joseph gave Esau a choice. You either want the wealth or you want the land.
Right.
Esau chose the wealth.
Yes.
And Jacob inherited the land. Okay,
Right.
so that's exactly what's playing out here, because you're gonna see it right here specifically with what like he just said. What the hell y'all talking about?
Right.
Okay, read on.
Surely my father Jacob bought it from thee for great riches after the death of Isaac.
Right.
Now 25 years ago, and also all the land of Canaan he bought from thee and from thy sons and thy seed after thee.
So
he said bought from thee.
Right. So we see here that Jacob was spent 17 years in Egypt. So 25 years, he say the deal was made. So 17 minus 25 is what, y'all know what it is, 8.
Yeah.
So 8 years before he came into Egypt, that contract was signed. 8 years before he went to Egypt, the contract was signed that Esau sold his portion of the burial site to Jacob. Now that ain't got nothing to include with Abraham's promise to Isaac, and then Isaac promise and the blessing in Genesis 25 and 24 when he blessed Esau and Jacob. That has nothing to do with that, because Jacob got an everlasting covenant, so that can't be bargained for. Like he said, I can't reverse that. And Esau wept like weeping Wanda. But y'all have but one blessing. He said, I'm gonna give you the land.
Putting the spit on his face.
Yeah, all of the same thing, crying and weeping bitterly. He said, okay, I'll give you this, but he gonna be your Lord, man. I can't take it back. I can't take it back. Let's read some more.
Verse 52. And Jacob bought it for his sons and his seed after him for an inheritance forever. And why speakest thou these things this day? And Esau answered, saying, Thou speakest falsely and utterest lies.
Boy, you lying in your breath stink. That's pretty much what Esau told him. Go ahead.
For I sold not anything belonging to me in all this land. And thou sayest, neither did my brother Jacob buy aught belonging to me in this land.
He ain't paid for nothing.
Right, now here comes the answer to this. This is going to be the answer to why he think he can get this off.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why he think he can get this off. Just like what Daniel talked about, looking in the glove department, finding that receipt for them bricks.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's why he think he can get this off. Keep reading.
And Esau spoke all these things in order to deceive Joseph with his words. For Esau knew that Joseph was not present
there
in
it
those
is,
days
right there.
when Esau sold all belonging to him in the land of Canaan to Jacob.
Now see, that's the key right there. Esau thinks this little nigga wasn't even around.
Right.
When this
Right, what is he talking?
right.
Jacob dead?
This is like a transaction happening in Mississippi.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He wasn't here.
Dead man can't
He don't
tell
know
no
nothing
tale.
about this. That's why I think he can get this off on
Right.
him. But Joseph gonna stand on his.
Right. Put that casket down, wake him up and ask him, we sign some papers?
Right.
Dead man can't talk, can he?
Right.
Go ahead.
And Esau spoke these things, 55. And Joseph said unto Esau, surely my father inserted these things with thee in the record of purchase.
In the what?
In the record of purchase.
See, and that's why we talk about Sirach 42 and 7, let all things be done in writing.
Paperwork.
Paperwork, there must be paperwork. Paperwork, when you get into Sirach, it talks about usury, it said it must be paperwork there. You got to have paperwork to keep you from killing somebody. Paperwork settles the matter. Look, when Paul was locked up, when you get into some Philippians 4 or whatever, and he tells them in 1 Tim, he telling me like, look, this what I need. I left my coat there. And I left all my parchments. That means my notes, because that's papyrus that you write is like paper. He said, I left all I need. That bring me all my stuff, man. I left that before they locked me up. I need all my stuff. So that's records, y'all, that we always kept writing. Everything we read, and this stuff was wrote down. Every move, the president, what's his name? Trump. Every move he make, there's a reporter right there. Can y'all imagine living like that? Y'all think that's some good living? You got security around, you can go anywhere. You don't have to dig in your pocket for nothing. But there's always somebody around, and you got to talk like they don't exist. The butler standing right there, them people know all the secrets. But they have to sign that paperwork. You better not say nothing in this lifetime or the next.
Disclosure agreement, something like that. Yeah.
Right. Your grandchildren will attack them for the next 1,000 years if you tell anything that's going on up in here. They know everything, and there was reporters around just like that throughout all of history. That's how the books get written. There's always people around. Go ahead. Right, that's what they'll say, right.
I'm gonna put you out of here.
Go ahead.
And Joseph said unto Esau, surely my father inserted these things with thee in the record of purchase, and testified the record of witnesses, and behold, it is with us in Egypt.
Oh, he said, look, we got the paperwork, it's in Egypt.
And Esau like,
Right, we got the paperwork. This that's how long you hold on to it. So and we're just talking about the doctrine out here of this foolish doctrine that's gathering up silly women that tell you we're married with no paperwork. Not nary a piece of paperwork. The only way you don't have nary a piece of paperwork, you're going through the engagement process. or you're
Children.
espoused, or this
Right.
my fiance, but it's still on record, so to speak, to keep everybody else at bay.
Right.
You know, until the marriage ceremony when the paperwork is signed. The Ten Commandments is the paperwork.
Right.
God wrote that with his finger and gave it to Moses. Then they sprinkled the people with the blood like hymen blood of a virgin because it's pure. And you got the order. Here's our word. You can't do this in this marriage covenant. You can't do this in that marriage covenant. Now, how we got it posted on all our walls, and then the next thing you talking about, oh, it's be part of the governments. If you get married under the government rule in your marriage. Which one of y'all woke up in the middle of the night? Who is it? It's the government, baby. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, yes, sir. He say, I got to go in the other room and sleep. I can't be sleeping here with you no more. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean,
But you
come
see-
on, y'all. Some of this is ridiculous.
But y'all see right here what's coming up though. Esau is like, this is what he thinking. But he, the type of person that he is, he gonna try to play, which we know how people
Yeah.
do. They're gonna try to play this lie out till you get it,
Until
that
you
it's gonna be
prove, yeah.
proven.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's still going, what's coming up in here, he's still gonna try to hang on to this lie.
Yeah.
Okay, read on.
Verse 56. And Esau answered, saying unto him, bring the record,
Bring it in. Bring it in.
all that thou wilt find in the record, so will we do. And Joseph called unto Naphtali his brother.
Who's this again?
Naphtali.
Naphtali. Who's
Yeah.
this that Judah said?
Yeah.
Run through the streets of Egypt.
Yeah.
And number them. Yeah, I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's how fast Naphtali was.
Right? So we gonna see Naphtali again, just like the road runner.
Yeah.
Run down to Egypt. How
Yeah.
far are they gone from Egypt?
Yeah.
Naphtali gonna be like, pew pew, stop,
Right.
just like the road runner.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Check it out, watch.
Yeah, he could run faster than a deer. So when y'all see certain tribes at the Olympics, you know this Israel because of the testament of Judah say he can outrun a horse.
Right.
And this many
That
furlongs.
was Jesse Owens.
So right, so the government will check for Judah. They don't go looking for document. They check for Judah. Ben Johnson raced a horse.
Yep.
Jesse Owens raced a horse.
Yep.
Chad Johnson raced a horse.
Uh-huh.
And Jesse Owens raced a horse in a quarter mile and they beat him. So they know. And then Judah would leap and grab this apple out of a tree when you read the Testament of Judah. And when you see Jordan like this, you like, there it is. And they know there it is.
Right.
Because you ain't gonna see nobody from another nation leaping like that unless a trampoline behind them.
Right. And see,
I'm talking about, have y'all seen, not to cut you off, have what Vince Carter did? Y'all talking about Jordan, get Vince Carter jumps over a 7-foot man. I'm not talking about he did his head like this. I'm talking about he was standing there like this and his private parts were right here over a 7-foot man.
Right.
And he dunked and hung on it like this.
Shalom,
bro.
In the halftime, Shabbat Shalom.
Yeah.
Group, thanks for coming today, brother. The fact that why do they have the exhibition in the basketball game when they got the Gentile boy dressed up in a gorilla suit with the jersey on and he got to jump on a springboard?
Well, you know what it
to
is?
dunk?
They tell you
Okay?
monkeys ain't on this
Right.
level.
They do that all the time. It's
It's
always
Jew.
a gorilla.
Yeah.
Always a gorilla.
Yeah.
But with, like Naphtali, he didn't have to go hunting with a bow and an arrow. He just ran and caught the deer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Y'all hungry?
Yeah.
Now we eating venison tonight. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all get into the testament of the 12 tribes. It tell you what each tribe gift was and compare it to Genesis 49. And you're going to see, you're going to like, that's Judah. That's how the nation
That's
said.
it. That's how we identified. So after we read this next 1 or 2 verses, then I'm going to tell y'all the story of why things are the way that they are. Read these next couple of verses.
Go ahead, bro.
Verse 57. And Joseph called unto Naphtali his brother, and he said, hasten quickly, stay not, and run, I pray thee, to Egypt, and bring all the records of the purchase.
The record of the what?
The records of the purchase.
1.
The sealed record and the open record.
There's 2 records.
And also all the first records in which all the transactions of the birthright are written. Fetch thou.
Bring all the paperwork. We want Abraham's, we got his paperwork. We want that. We want Isaac's paperwork that was signed. We want the agreement 25 years ago signed. Bring all the papers with you.
While they're standing there.
Yeah.
While
Bring all
they're
the paperwork.
standing there. Wouldn't get all of it.
To make a long story short, he told him, why don't you run down there to Egypt and get there?
You get
That's
the
right.
paperwork.
That's like I say.
Run like it's nothing.
Run like it's nothing.
Anybody else, man?
While they standing there, they're not standing there like this. He'll be back in
2 days.
yeah.
No.
They standing like this. Okay, here he is. Okay, that's how it is.
Right.
Now watch this.
Go ahead.
58. And thou shalt bring them unto us hither, that we may know from them all the words of Esau and his sons which they spoke this day.
All the lies. Read on.
And Naphtali hearkened to the voice of Joseph, and he hastened and ran to go down to Egypt. And Naphtali was lighter on foot than any of the stages that were upon
Stags, yeah, them
any of the
deers or
stags
bucks, yeah.
that were upon the wilderness. For he would go upon ears of corn without crushing them.
Run across a cornfield. He can run across the top of a cornfield and not fall down in there.
Yeah.
But he was so swift that now mind you, all the brothers with their gifts, Judah had them all.
Yeah.
Judah had them all, okay? The strongest and the mightiest
Yeah.
of all of them. Him and Naphtali would race each other. You know, Naphtali was like a
Distance runner.
you're right, a leopard. I mean, Judah would be the one like the leopard that he could run fast, but Naphtali had that African in him that they run from city to city.
Right.
You know, without
Right.
The
He
ones
was
that
a long
win-
distance
The ones,
runner.
right, the ones that
Long
always
distance
win the
runner.
marathons.
Right.
It's always somebody
Absolutely.
from Kenya.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Always Kenya
Yeah.
is the ones that win. But when you see
Judah.
no, your other boy that wins the fastest race.
Yeah, the 100-yard dash, Judah.
Yeah.
Judah.
Oh, Hussein.
Usain Bolt, that's what I'm trying to think of.
Right, Judah, or the,
Right.
you know, all the Carl Lewis, all of them.
Right.
All of them. Y'all, it's the greatest sport in the Olympics. Out of all of
Track
them,
and field.
the 100-yard
Shalom,
dash
Hebrew.
sets up who the whole world is talking about. It shows the greatest athlete on planet Earth. And until y'all see the 100-yard dash with them riding on that golf cart, riding, filming them on the side, y'all gonna actually think this man got wheels on his feet.
Right.
I'm talking about you are not seeing. I'm talking about running so fast, they're running 35 to 40 miles an hour. Now that may not seem fast to you, but be on the highway changing the flat and let me go past at 40. You're gonna know how fast 40 is. When you standing there and I pull your shirt out of your pants, now imagine 65 or 70 coming past. Go ahead, bro.
Read on.
You dreaming, man.
Verse 60. And when Esau saw that Naphtali had gone to fetch the record,
Keep reading.
he and his sons increased their resistance against the cave. And Esau and all his people rose up against Joseph and his brethren to battle.
Because he said, I ain't got but a minute. I better go on and do what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? I better go on and do what I'm going to do because this nigga's going to be right back. So now that he's gone, that's just like one less of them. You know what I'm saying? That I ain't got to contend with. Keep reading.
And all the sons of Jacob and the people of Egypt fought with Esau and his men. And the sons of Esau and his people were smitten before the sons of Jacob. And the sons of Jacob slew of Esau's 40 men. And Chusam, the son of Dan, the son of Jacob, was at that time with Jacob's son, but he was about 100 cubits distant from the place of battle, for he remained with the children of Jacob's son by Jacob's briar to guard.
So they like, you stay and watch the casket. Why gonna do this? So now he's how many cubics?
40.
100 cubics. So a cubic is 18 inches or from the tip of your finger right here to your elbow. So you do 18 times. What was
He
how
ain't
many
that far away. He
cubics?
about over there by that pole.
How many cubics was it? 100?
100.
So 18 times 100, then divide that by 12, and that'll tell you how many feet he was from the body, from the battle. 18 times 100, which is what, 1800? Then divide that by 12, which is what? 650 feet. Am I right?
I'll go to Jenny.
600 something 50 feet. So this is how far he was from the battle. A football field is 300 feet. So he was about 2.5 football fields from the battle. So y'all get right where we at.
Right.
Go ahead, bro.
Thank you.
And Chusam was dumb and deaf, Still he understood the voice of consultation amongst men.
So he was deaf and dumb and he couldn't hear or speak, but he can tell when somebody arguing. You know why? Because the countenance change on the man.
Right.
You can see somebody saying, "Hey, my brother," or you
What's
can
going
see,
on?
you know, you can tell he like, "Shit, them war faces."
Right.
Go ahead.
And he asked, saying, "Why do you not bury the dead? And what is this great consternation?" And they answered him the words of Esau and his son. And he ran to Esau in the midst of the battle, and he slew Esau with the sword.
Right.
And he cut off his head.
What'd he do?
He cut off his head. And it sprang to a distance.
It was bouncing around like a soccer ball. Go ahead.
He went shoot.
Face first.
And Esau fell amongst the people of the battle.
Right.
And when Chisholm did this thing, the sons of Jacob prevailed over the sons of Esau. And the sons of Jacob buried their father Jacob by force in the cave. And Esau's son and the sons of Esau beheld it. And Jacob was buried in Hebron in the cave of Machpelah, which Abraham.
What is Ariel? You listening? I'm just messing with him. Go ahead. Go ahead.
From the sons of his heap, from the possession of a burial place, and was buried in every costly garment.
Yes, sir. Very costly garment. So y'all, we got that honest on dressing our people up in the coffin. A lot of times we say don't put that money in the ground, but they wasn't putting that money in the ground. Egypt put that money in the ground. They set all that out. You know what I'm saying? So we can't copy that. And then you ain't got nothing else to live on. And then we thinking about, you know, getting some flashlights. We up at Harbor 2's getting flashlights and stuff. Now we're going to dig that coffin up. And like Richard Pryor, you got another thing coming. If you think we're going to bury him with all the rings and things on, you got another thing coming. Go ahead. What you got?
What you got, John?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that, Jubilees. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I was going to wait till they finish up, but I hit on that for you. Go ahead.
What you got, AZ?
No, I was just basically saying, you know, they was born together. Jacob and Esau was born together.
Yeah.
Right.
Jacob died. Esau ended up dying too.
The same day, right.
Yeah.
So, and if this account,
of burying Jacob.
right. And both of them, well, his head ended up in there. But finish reading this right here. What it say?
Verse 67. And no king had such honor paid upon him as Joseph paid unto his father after his death. For he buried him with great honor, like unto the burial of kings. And Joseph and his brethren made a mourning of 7 days for their father.
Okay.
So, and when
that's the end of my class.
Yeah, so when we get into, we're going to fill in the blanks now. We're going to Jasher 36, but we're going to jump in the Bible. We're going to close out with this. But when you read into the book of Jubilees, it's about the 30th chapter, I believe, it says that Jacob killed Esau, his brother. So he shot him with an arrow. The only problem here is we got Jubilees is called Little Genesis. So it's jumping in years. It's talking about a war that Genesis 30 talk about also, that when Jacob met Esau, when it talks about it in the Bible, and they met him and it was peace, and he let him go with his wives and his children.
Right.
In Jubilees, it start off talking about that because it starts off right talking about when he left Laban. The same way the Bible speaks of it. But just in there, he said Jacob shot Esau with an arrow in his breast and his lieutenant. The problem is we only got one witness for both. We got Jasher because Genesis, the 66 books don't mention Esau's death. Nowhere in the Bible, nowhere in any other writings. I've been searching, but I'm just telling everybody else out there, if y'all find it, let me know. You know the only other second witness you're going to get is in the Talmud, and we can't use that. We can't even use that for our advantage.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's stuck at one witness. Jasher say Jacob's grandson killed Esau, cut his head off. The book of Jubilees say Jacob killed him with an arrow. Or it's something within Jubilees pressing both wars into one war. The funeral and when Jacob left Laban. That's what you're going to see in Jubilees. But that means we got to go to work because we only got one witness. We can't say which side we're going to believe. Can we cast Jubilees away? No, can we cast Josh away? Because there's still one witness of how Esau died. But it ain't in here
At all.
So y'all, once we get there, we just have to keep digging, y'all. That means it's not a mystery. It's there, but we just got to keep digging. That's why you can't put the Bible down. There's things that we have to keep looking at, and we have to keep looking at why is it saying 2 different people killed like that. But it's easy understandable when you read 1 Samuel 31 where David talks about Saul and his sons dying, and it says Saul committed suicide. Well, when you get to 2 Samuel 1, it says armor bearer killed him. Which one is telling the truth? And then when you get to 2 Samuel 4th chapter, David ended up, because one didn't kill all of Saul's sons. He had one son left, old Ishabab or somebody, that the other 10 tribes, when they wanted to be king, David's, I believe it was David's son that was trying to be king over him, Rehoboam, or whoever it was David's son. He was with them, the other 10 tribes, and David was right here. So he ended up getting his head cut off, all of Saul's sons, and they died that way. But then it talks about they went and got his head. But the situation is David punished the man that said Saul was about to die. Right. And I just helped him out. I just pulled a Jack Kevorkian on him. And I brought you his crown. See, here's his crown. No, and he thought David was going to reward him. David said, you put your hands on the Lord anointed. Right. I could have killed him 3 times and I didn't. And he was trying to kill me. He said, you just signed your own death warrant. Off with his head. So y'all, when y'all read these things and you see a difference in there, but all the story is lining up, Jubilees pushes things like these 66. Because this 66 is all these lost books. It's the Apocrypha all combined in here. It's in hundreds and thousands of years. These go day to day. Like we just read all this, that was in one day. Everything we read was in one day. So when you read that about the difference, get on the homework, y'all, because right now we can't say Jubilees is wrong because Josh only got 1 witness of the way Jacob died. This has 0 witness, I'm sorry, of how Esau died. 0! Let's read some more. So, y'all, what I want to do, get right into Genesis 36. Y'all, we ain't got long about an hour. That's all I need. I ain't gonna talk much. If you're right, just be quiet. You know? But y'all, we're gonna get back to 36. And it's a few things in 36 concerning the law on how we fill in the blanks, y'all. And y'all, what we're talking about, law is so important. And we're under the Melchizedek priesthood. That don't mean the law changed. What it means is we only have 1 high priest versus Aaron and all his sons under the order of Aaron. So under the priesthood of Messiah, he's the one and only high priest. So the law was in the earth before Mount Sinai. And you're going to see Reuben them using the law before we come out of Egypt. What law were they under before we come out of Egypt and hit Mount Sinai? They was following laws and regulations. It said Abraham kept all the commandments of the Most High. How? And it wasn't Mount Sinai was way down the line. He was dead before Mount Sinai. Paid tithes before the 10. So y'all, we understand that the law of Melchizedek was in the earth from Adam up to Joseph. Up to us leaving Egypt. When we got to Mount Sinai, it switched to the schoolmaster. We had to be re-educated on who we were as a people. Then once we got through that trouble and the Messiah took over the priesthood and the veil was rent, and you can go back there and look what the holies of holies was, where the high priest went, it switched back to Melchizedek. And this is what Paul experienced on the road to Damascus. That light hit him. He said, why you keep kicking against the prick? You know the priesthood is here? So that's all Paul is talking about from the 2nd chapter to the 10th chapter of Hebrew about the Melchizedek order. He's not saying the law is done away with. He said the law have to be up here now. Like Messiah taught him, if you think to look on a woman to lust after, you done done what?
Committed adultery.
Already right here in your heart. If you right now, you shouldn't have to have nothing posted everywhere you go. Don't look at that woman's rear end. There it is. I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna do it.
You just convinced you.
See, but when it's up here, you know the responsibilities of the law. You see us standing in line in jeans that look like they was painted on. Your mind is not thinking about a marriage covenant with 2 witnesses.
Right.
You done already throw the rag in the sink. You threw it already up here. Then looking for your car in darkness. Nobody sees. Up here. He said you might as well go on and do all of that.
Right.
Because it's the same crime up here with the Messiah.
Right.
That's the Melchizedek order. You got to consciously know it's wrong and get it out of your way before this hand move to it. Once the hand grab it, you through. It's sin. It's like James say, once lust have conceived, and then sin is brought forth, you through at that point.
Right.
You cannot let sin conceive. You can't let the seed hit the egg, because it's going to produce trouble. That's what it's going to produce, ain't it? And then we're going to be arguing on the phone. Well, you said you was just going to put the covenant in. Well, you said you was on birth control.
Both of y'all lied.
But what we should have said, what does the Lord say about what we did
Right.
before we do this again? Or we going to make Planned Parenthood fact? Let's get some more. Where we at? 36.
Genesis 36.
Yeah, I ain't gonna talk no more. Go ahead. Yeah, Jasher 36. I'm sorry.
I was wondering. Oh, but you said Jasher.
I said 36. I said I was getting back in there, didn't I?
Yeah, you did, but then you said Genesis.
Well, no, that's Esau's lineage in 36. So y'all, we just gonna run through here and hit a few laws, y'all, so y'all can understand why law reigns supreme, and don't get caught up in anybody just tell you what it say in the Hebrew. I don't care what it say in the Hebrew. Hebrew is just a language for the Hebrew nation. All languages are translated from Hebrew. That's as far as it goes. It don't make Hebrew more powerful than English.
Right.
If you still speaking Hebrew and I don't still speaking English, who is in the right spot? You think the Most High gonna say, well, you stole speaking English, and you didn't steal speaking English, and he stole speaking English, but because he's speaking Hebrew, I got to punish you.
Right.
Do that make any sense?
Nope.
Let's read some more.
It's on me.
Yeah.
Jasher chapter 36, verse 1. At that time the Lord appeared.
No, we just said Jasher. Yeah, we changed it. We changed it, y'all.
He changed it.
Yeah. Let's let them catch up, y'all. We back in Jasher 36, but we going back into the Bible. We're going into Genesis 35
Okay.
and 1. So y'all gonna lock that in, 35 and 1 of Genesis. Because we're gonna roll back and forth so y'all can understand why we use different books that's mentioned in the Bible. The Apocrypha is mentioned in the Bible. It talks about the same things in the Bible. So we use it. We don't use outside book stuff.
NIVs.
Well, NIV is good, but it all depends on what you're looking at. They say missing verses in the NIV. They missing, but they're at the footnotes. So are they technically missing?
That's some study we have to.
So y'all have to understand the NIV is just a cleaner English. I mean, because once you run the NIV and you're talking about language, you got to deal with the Tinsdale and the Wycliffe. These preceded the King James by a couple hundred years. What language is that? Should we be talking that language versus King James? That's why the law reigns supreme.
Right.
It don't matter what version it changed to. Exodus 20 in the NIV is the exact same as Exodus 20 in the KJV. Now there's the TOV that's out there that you got to be wary of. And that's their own version. Negroes just make up what they say. Right here, say, you can wear crystals. The priest wore it. Right there, I see it. You can sleep with whoever you want to. You can be in a strip club. If it's 10 strippers, you got 10 wives. That's in the TOV, their own version. That ain't in these versions. Go ahead.
All right, Jasher chapter 36,
Yeah.
verse 1. At that time the Lord appeared unto Jacob, saying, Arise, go to Bethel and remain there, and make there an altar to the Lord who appeareth unto thee, who delivered thee and thy sons from affliction.
So read that Genesis 35 and 1 for me. Anybody real quickly?
Genesis chapter 35, verse 1. And Yahweh said unto Jacob, Arise, go to Bethel, and dwell there, and make there an altar unto Yahweh that appeared unto thee when thou fleddest from the face of Esau thy brother.
So right here we see we on the same page, ain't it? The story is exactly the same. Josh is just gonna get into detail. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 2. And Jacob rose up with his sons and all belonging to him. And they went and came to Bethel according to the word of the Lord.
And Bethel was Yahweh had the dream of the ladder. It's a portal. Anytime there's a portal involved or there's a supernatural event, you're going to always see them put a pillar there. And basically it's a mark spot of a portal. Most empires, when they build an archway and the columns that stand, the columns mark the portal. You can see a ruin that was existing 3,000 years ago, but guess what's standing? The archway and the portals. They still mark. I mean, not the portals. What do you call them? The columns. The columns. They mark where the portal is, where the opening of heaven is, where it's letting demons in, or where righteous angels are coming in at. So Jacob at Bethel, which was first called Luz. Notice the Bible always talk about what's its original name. It was first called Luz. But when a supernatural event, he changes it to a supernatural name only for the supernatural people that know what's going on. So this was a portal, and he was sending Jacob right back to the portal location because the heavens are going to open up right there for him. The Mount of Olives is a portal. When the Messiah left, they said he coming right back to the same spot. The Mount of Olives, he going to touch back down right here. Go ahead, bro. Let's read some more.
Verse 3. And Jacob was 90 and 9.
Go ahead, Imam. Well, what they call now, no, that's not the same. Bethel is different from the Mount of Olives. Mount of Olives is like Zechariah 14, talking about when they say the mount split open. And if you be in Judea, run down to the mount. That's the Mount of Olives. You're going to see some supernatural things there. But only if you in Judea. If you in St. Louis, we got to not come down off the rooftop or no go back in to take anything out of our house. But if you're in Judea, run to the Mount of Olives, because it's going to open up. It's going to be a portal there. That's the safety zone. That's the only place in Jerusalem is saying the safety zone is. It ain't in Mount Seir, in Petra. That's Esau's land. Petra is a tourist attraction now. You can buy tickets and go walk around in there. How in the hell you going to be hiding in there? And right here we see, hold it, get your cameras. There's Hebrews hiding in here from the tribulation. And we in there like this. Who sees it? Y'all hush your mouth. Hush your mouth.
And they eating cotton candy.
Yeah. And they looking at us eating. No, yo, it don't make sense. Where we at?
Verse 3. And Jacob was 99 years old when he went up to Bethel. And Jacob and his sons and all the people that were with him remained in Bethel in Luz. And he there built an altar to the Lord who appeared unto him. And Jacob and his sons remained in Bethel 6 months. At that time.
At that what?
At that time died Deborah, the daughter of, how you pronounce that? Uz, the nurse of Rebekah, who had been with Jacob. And Jacob buried her beneath Bethel under an oak that was there.
So right here we're seeing Deborah being buried. And who was Deborah? Deborah, hit this 35 and 8 while you're there. Hit that one verse.
Genesis chapter 35 verse 8. But Deborah, Rebekah's nurse, died, and she was buried beneath Bethel. She was buried beneath Bethel under an oak, and the name of it was called, how you pronounce it?
That was
yeah, what he said.
Yeah. So we see it's matching up again, right? It's matching up again, right? We see that Deborah died, and Deborah was the nurse, because when you read in Jasher, when Rebekah came to marry Isaac, she was only 10 years old. So you had a Nate said, that's why we don't trust that Jasper. See, he a pedophile. No. When you read in here in Genesis, when he first went to go get Rebekah, the nurse left with her. She was 10 years old. That's Big Mama. Deborah was Big Mama for the 12 tribes. This why her burial was so powerful. He buried her at a portal, at a supernatural location. He marked the spot where Deborah, the Big Mama for the 12 tribes, where she died right here, y'all. She kept Isaac off of Rebekah till she was of age. She knew Ezekiel 16, like the Messiah said, when I took Israel and I washed them clean, and when her wall was built up, and when the time of love came, then I spread my covering over her. No, that doctrine them Negroes teaching you can have a young girl at 12 years of age. What is she going to know at 12 years of age? Now they lurking around high schools. Because this doctrine going forth, a woman, if she remarries, she ain't worth nothing because she done had 2 men in her life now. Then how in the hell are you going to read anything about David and Abigail? Who was Abigail's first husband? Do you read Abigail going downhill after that, or was she a queen? And ain't she the second, and that her second husband? And then they run to where David said, when Nathan said, I gave you your master's wives and all Israel into your bosom. Well, you taking all of them second wives, so if you got your master's wife, that's Saul. You got his wife. Who was her first husband?
She wasn't a virgin.
See, that's what we talking about, y'all. Y'all got to get out of the silly woman mindset, and what I mean by that, go for the okie doke. They're not your savior. It don't line up with 1 Corinthians 7 when it says the woman that have an unbelieving husband. If she keep with the word, what does it say? Do you know that you could be a savior for your husband by hearing your word? So who the savior? The woman or the man at that point. And likewise the man if you have a woman that don't believe. But if they won't be pleased to dwell with you, let them go. It's simple, y'all. It's not hard. This don't punish nobody. If that's the case, you couldn't have remarriage in the Bible. You don't think the vomit you spewing talking about, yeah, see, she gonna have her last man on her mind. Then that would be out of there. A second marriage. You don't think the Lord would be knowing what you telling? Now she's gonna marry David, but her whole life she shall be thinking about Uriah the Hittite as he swung a mighty sword in the bedroom. David won't stand a chance as being her second. Where are you reading that at? What you got, sis? 16. And you'll read about it, start off verse 1. Thy father was a Hittite and thy mama was an Amorite. But it's talking about land prophecy. But it's saying Jerusalem is your nativity. That's where you started at, in Canaan, the land of Canaan, who was run by the Amorites. And then it gets into people prophecy. But when I took you, I washed you clean. I waited till your walls was built up. I didn't pull an R. Kelly on y'all. That's the first thing that anybody I heard. I didn't see the video. That's what I heard. Her walls wasn't built up. Her walls was not built up.
There was none.
And the same thing Solomon say. How can we give our sister anybody and her wall ain't built up? She ain't even got on a training bra and these Negroes licking their eyebrows like windshield wipers. And they teaching this out of the TOV. Their own version. What you got, bro?
Sister Reuben asked a question. Does Big Mama refer back to Jezebel? She's no. Jezebel
was a harlot in 1 King that overran her husband. Big Mama is like what big mamas do, they grandmama. When young girls have baby, Big Mama basically raised that baby. She's the nursing mother. We're nursing mother for other nations, Isaiah 59. And they nursing, they should be your nursing mother, nursing kings and nursing queen like we were. They run the house. She told Isaac she ain't ready yet. And look, this is a 10-year-old girl that her parents asked her, do you want to go? This wasn't no arranged marriage. This 10-year-old girl looked at them jewels and said, hell no, yeah, I'll go. And when you weigh how much them jewels she had in them earrings, Eliezer, Abraham's servant, went and gave to her. This is the problem. There ain't nowhere in none of these scriptures that where there's a such thing called a free male. They're females. They come with a fee. Whether they're a virgin, they come with this dowry. Whether they're remarried, they come with this part of marriage. The rules still apply. Cause she had 3 husbands don't mean you ain't got to be a power of protection over and you ain't got to have no paperwork. Where you reading that at?
She was married once.
And thou shalt find the paperwork of her dead husband and thou shalt be able to use that for yourself. You may be Willie Earl in the emergency room. No, you won't. We seeing trouble every day. Somebody been married, get separated, don't get divorced, be with somebody else for 20 years, they die. Guess who get to come in and call the shots?
Yep.
Who got the paperwork?
Right.
And this ain't gonna work in no court. We're here, we's married. To who? Now you can get that notarized with 2 witnesses and it'll work. But they won't even do that. And then send you a divorce decree, which the Bible don't show a divorce decree. It show a marriage certificate, but it don't show a divorce decree. But that's what they come up with. The divorce decree emailed to you. I'm still with you. I told you about burning butter the last time. You have no skills. What you got over there, bro?
Somebody else was actually basically asking, where did we get the definition of Big Mama?
Well, I'm just saying there's a grandmother, she's the elder in a sense. It's just called, she's the big mama. You got little mama,
right?
Your regular mama, and then it's just a title given to grandparents. Right. Like Abraham would have been called Big Daddy.
Right.
That's all. I'm just saying Big Mama so y'all get it in y'all minds of what Big Mama's done.
Because if you think about it, when like the point he made was that if you have a daughter who has a daughter at a young age,
right,
that are a child at a young age, that they're all living in the house,
right,
and they know the difference. This is my mama. And this is my big mama.
Right, right.
She's still
absolutely,
the daughter.
bro. Yes, sir.
She's still the daughter of the mother.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So this is my mama and this is my big mama.
And when we just read about Dan's son killing Esau, it said, and Jacob's son chewed him. It didn't say his grandson. It's still to call him his son.
Right.
Like Abraham called Lot my brother, but it was his nephew. Right. It's only brother on the spiritual sense. They like brothers because they teach the same thing, but technically it's his nephew. Let's read some more.
Verse 5.
What did it say?
And Rebekah, the daughter of
Bethuel,
the mother of Jacob, also died at that time in Hebron. The same is Kereth Arba, and she was buried in the cave of Machpelah, which Abraham had bought from the children of Heth. And the life of Rebekah was 133 years, and she died. And when Jacob heard that his mother Rebekah was dead, he wept bitterly for his mother.
What'd he do?
Wept bitterly for his mother, and made a great mourning for her, and for Deborah, her nurse, beneath the oak. And he called the name of that place Alon.
Boy, you on fire today. Okay.
Verse 7. And Laban the Syrian died in those days. For God smote him because he transgressed the covenant that exists between him and Jacob.
See, so the Most High, so now we get to answer how Laban died and what he died from. He tricked Jacob. Even though Jacob tricked Esau, Laban tricked him. But once the score was settled, he evened it out. And he said, okay, we're going to play fair now. You get all these cattle, I'm a turn, I get all the speckled ones, you get all them. And he transgressed that one too. He started off breaking the rules, Laban did. But it was a wake-up call to Jacob, don't trick your daddy or nobody else no more, because he tricked his dad. Put on the goat skin, didn't he? Right? Yes, sir. So he put on what Esau did. Look, he didn't put on sheepskin, did he? Because sheep got wool, nappy hair, like he'd have known. He'd been like, this Jacob, I feel all that BDB. But goat hair is straight.
Is this ma'am?
Goat hair is straight. So when he felt the goat hair and it was smooth, he said, you sound like Jacob, but this Esau. And he had on Esau clothes. It smelled like the dew in the morning. Let's get some more. Where we at?
Verse 8. And Jacob was 100 years old when the Lord appeared unto him and blessed him and called his name Israel.
So his mama died at what, Rebecca?
133.
So you minus 99 from 133, and that tell you how old she was when she had Esau and Jacob. See, this is filling in the blanks. If you guess how old she was, then you know. Because Isaac was 60, was 40. Well, no, Isaac was 40 when they went and got him. It was 60. He was 60 before Jacob then was born. So he died at 180. So she was a young woman, but she was at least, we don't know, it had to be between 20 and 40, because that's the next time we talk about a child and conception. It's the only information we can go off. We can't speculate. We have to go off the information provided to us, y'all, and provided to somebody else, so that they won't say, y'all running TOV. Or the SOV, the serious version. Go ahead.
Verse 9. And at that time, Jacob and all belonging to him journeyed to Bethel to go to his father's house to Hebron. And while they were going on the road, and there was yet but a little way to come to, how you pronounce that? Ephraim?
Yeah.
Rachel bare a son, and she had hard labor, and she died.
See, so that's why I say like a woman in travail. Everything or trouble coming is like a woman in the hour that the water break, because she can die giving birth. You in the middle of life and death at that point. So that's why it compares that when the day of the Lord is like a woman in travail. It's like water broken. Y'all know how chaotic that is. Especially you show up to the room late, and she already done been in 40 hours of labor. You gonna be every black SOB on the planet. It's your fault, you. You black mother. Boy. Go ahead, bro. Where you at?
Verse 11. And Jacob buried her in the way to Ephrath, which is Bethlehem. And he set a pillar upon her grave, which is there unto this day. And the days of Rachel were 45 years, and she died.
45 years old when Rachel died.
45.
Young woman. Guess how old Leah was? 51. Those women died, could have been just warring all the time about who's gonna get Jacob love. Because it was technically Rachel at Leah's throat to my look, heifer. My daddy switched us. Don't you get it in your mind that this the real deal. We got switched at the wedding. Don't get it twisted. But we're gonna see some other things in here I wanted y'all to check out. Where you at on that? Y'all read Jubilees chapter 31 and 30. Y'all mark that. It's gonna say the same thing about Deborah at Bethel getting buried. That's in the book of Jubilees also. Matches up with all of Genesis 35, the whole chapter. And now we're in where you at, verse what?
Verse 12. And Jacob called the name of his son that was born to him, which Rachel bare unto him, Benjamin. For he was born to him in the land on the right hand. And it was after the death of Rachel that Jacob pitched his tent in the tent of her handmaid Bilhah.
See, so now Jacob pitched his tent in Bilhah. See, so when you hear this hustle game, this hustle and flow, Negroes running this pimp game, calling it multiple wives or polygamy, which is a Greek word. It can't be found in Hebrew, because the only words in Hebrew is if a man take another wife. If. Not a man must, not you niggas scared of your woman, now you're scared. Ain't none of that's in there, that's in the TOV. This say if a man take a second wife, her raiment shall not depart. Talking about the first one, her covering and her food can't depart. You can't cut into her. How you gonna make her share a happy meal because you went and got another woman? You can't keep up. It's too much for you. So, right. Didn't I tell y'all, where y'all think money grow on trees? They like, no, from our jobs, because you ain't got one. Watch hustle and flow, and then watch they work. And see, don't you see the same thing? There's multiple women in that house, babies hollering and crying. He ain't working. She tell him, I ain't even made payout yet, and you here begging. That's like him showing up at her job. Did they give you a check yet? Hell, they ain't passed him out yet.
There's a scripture. Remember last week when I gave y'all the audio books or the lost books? Yeah. I was listening to the first and second. You're going to see first Baruch and second Baruch. And Baruch was Jeremiah's partner in the Old Testament. And the second Baruch, it runs over 80-something chapters. And I heard in there, while I was at work yesterday, it was like, it talks about a man living off a woman, where she got the job and you don't. it specifically says that in there. And I'm looking.
Read real quick,
bring some of that
Sirach,
out.
read Sirach 25 and 8, real quick, 25, 22, real quick. Just talking about what you're saying, bro.
Okay.
Keep on expressing yourself.
Yeah, but it's so this ain't nothing new of cats just doing this. It goes all the way back in the scriptures for real about, no, this is wrong. You the man. You get the job, not let her work or she on the system and the government and letting everybody else pay for y'all to live for free. You supposed to have a job to take care of your wife and your children.
Right.
You just don't have children and say, more money, more food stamps.
More money,
The more
Now you
children I
truly
get,
married to the government,
right,
ain't you?
exactly.
No money.
Then Uncle Sucker become your husband.
Right.
He rules over your household.
Right.
That ain't even yours.
Right. Better not see his shoes in there.
Not
Right.
no man's
The big
clothes.
red, white, and blue shoes.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right, Sirach chapter 25,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
verse 22.
What it say?
A woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger, impudence, and much reproach.
If she maintain a husband. Y'all see that's a if there. If your aunt had testes, she be your uncle.
Right.
See, if
If
she maintains, and that's not talking about a woman not helping her husband, y'all working together because y'all one flesh. What I'm talking about, if you have to buy his drawers, his cigarettes, his shoelaces, and then your justification is that I wanted to get him on his feet, that's going to be a problem. You're going to fall into this, ladies. Now, can we find sin? What'll happen to you? Say it's going to be self-evident. It's going to work you like the prodigal son, Luke 15. He spent all his money on harlots, and it didn't never say he broke the law of God. It just say you're going to be brought to a price of bread. And he was eating out of a pigsty. He lost all his paper. You can't keep up with stripper work. How you talking about making it rain on a drizzle budget?
A mist.
You into bill money, ain't you? Right. Get a wife. Where we at, bro?
we had verse 13. Verse 14. And Reuben was jealous for his mother Leah,
Right.
on account of this.
On account of what?
On account of this.
Because Jacob pitched his tent in Bilhah's house. Now I want y'all to understand where we at right here. Jacob, when he tricked Laban and Laban tricked him, he had a choice to make. I have to stay married to Leah until she died. Then I can take the chance on hoping Rachel is still alive, because you can't marry sisters while they're alive. Both of them alive, you vex the parents. What side they gonna take when two sisters get in an argument? What side her parents gonna take?
Right.
So you can't marry two sisters. Not only that, but Zilpah and Bilhah were sisters. So he got 4 sisters. Well, 2 and 2.
2 sets.
2 sets of sisters. But they were given to him. He didn't go after them. He
Right.
went after one woman.
Right.
And we know one woman can bear 12 children.
Right.
Know it personally because the stewards had 18 children.
Right.
Then I got into a fight with them at school. They was passing out weapons like we was just reading about. And here you a stick, here you a bat, here, and it's 18 of them, and you standing there like this. No.
And they steady showing up.
So he didn't need all them wives, but it's law breaking in there that where this decision has been made. So now Jacob has to go through all of this of violating the law to get it back on path so the Messiah could be born through that. That had to be straightened out. But these Negroes act like, well, he didn't turn down the Quabba like he didn't turn down Bilhah. So that makes it right in y'all mind? That's what it say in the TOV? He didn't turn down the Quabba?
But the reason why
Jacob.
Talking about Reuben, right?
Yeah.
The reason why Reuben was mad is that because he said when Rachel died, he just expected
Yes, sir.
and assumed that his mama was gonna move into the #1 position of Jacob, loving her more.
But see
She
what
played second fiddle the entire time.
the second time,
So
right.
as soon as she was dead, he's like, okay, now my mama gonna get the love that she deserves.
Leah.
This is the son.
Yeah.
Thinking about his mama.
The firstborn son.
Right. So he thinking about it. He know his mama was second the entire time. But now that Rachel is gone,
She can be legally
right.
first.
Yeah, she gonna be first in my father's heart.
But she what?
But he went got another gal.
Yeah.
That's what pissed him off.
See, because he went to his third wife, Bilhah, Dan's mama, Asher's mama. He liked her. Now Reuben liked her too. See, this is all the chaos that brings. It's not saying that it can't happen, but this chaos comes with it. When you get into Sirach 9, it talks about women being jealous of a rival. All of that come with this. These are instructions for you before you make that decision and say, okay, I'll play with this surrender game. I mean submission game you talking, Lord. My Lord. That's a surrender game. You broke down to nothing. You told you ain't worth nothing. Nothing but when I say get naked, get naked.
That's what I mean.
So it ain't just me though.
Oh, look here. So y'all, we understand why, like he's saying, Reuben was so mad because Leah, first he said, Rachel took my mandrakes that I found. That was Reuben, Leah's, Jacob, them firstborn son.
Yep.
He found them mandrakes and gave them to Rachel. And she said, I done hired you for the night, partner.
Right.
You coming with me. So he's still mad about that. And then instead of Jacob going into Leah's tent, because she's technically the first wife, he went to Bilhah's tent. He put his tent there. He like, if your mom and your brother's looking for me, I'm over here at Bilhah. But what are we seeing here, y'all? Look, we seeing a consistent of these women having their own location.
Yep.
And when you get into Genesis 38, you'll see that when Laban came and he was looking for his idols that Rachel had took, it say he first went into Leah's tent. Then he went into Rachel's tent. Then he went into Bilhah's tent. Then he went into, it ain't hustle and flow that they pulling right now.
Right.
You in a room, the whole house is unclean. Women together in one house, they all come on at the same time. But that's in the scripture somewhere.
Right.
One bathroom. How you got 5 women in there in one bathroom? It's gonna stay unclean.
It's gonna stay stinking too, because you
Boy.
one roll of toilet paper,
Look here.
everything.
Be smelling just like Big Cat Country out of Falls Park. And there's no disrespect to women. I'm just talking about if it's not according to the rules, this is what's going to happen. It ain't got to be seen. This is what it's going to come down to. Just watch Hustle and Flow, y'all, and y'all will see exactly what it's talking. And they talk the same thing. Say I'm in charge, you's in charge. Say, Deke, sometime I need my head messed with, but it ain't now. Don't talk to me about how good I'm working at that job and you ain't worked in 15 years and the shoes I bought you and you really appreciate that. That's why I'm moving you to the #1 heifer. Don't talk to me about it. Watch Hustle and Flow and then listen to that TOV word and see ain't you watching the same thing. But this says different. Totally different. You can't have that chaos and confusion. Let's read some more. What else to say?
Verse 15. At that time, the portion of birthright, together with the kingly and priestly offices, was removed from the sons of Reuben. No.
Well, I tell you what, while we're here, we're going to go into detail so you can even get a third witness. We got Genesis about Laban looking at tents. We got right here, he pitched his tent in Bilhah's house. Give me a little bit of Jubilees real quick. Give me 33:1. And we're going to see, it's going to get into a little bit more detail to fill in the blank why Reuben was so hot. He blamed it on that. But Bilhah probably was his same age. And he like, Daddy got a tenderoni. And he's lusting secretly after his daddy's younger wife. When you read the testament of Reuben in the 1st and 2nd chapter, he gonna tell you, my son,
Do like I did.
I walked like Fred Sanford for 7 years. I didn't eat no meat. I didn't do no drinking because of what I did to my daddy.
He said he could never look his.
He couldn't even look at his daddy in the face. How you gonna look at him? You a MF. That's where the word come from. Mother for unlawful carnal knowledge. F-U-C-K is always capital. For unlawful carnal knowledge. Did I do it like that, or was I bruh man 5th floor? But you know what I'm saying. For unlawful carnal knowledge. So he's a mother for unlawful carnal knowledge. It's unlawful for you to take your mom. Jubilees 33 and 1. Let's get that real quick. Y'all turn to that. If y'all don't have it here, you got that. Can you put that up on the board? Okay, go ahead. Y'all read that for me.
All right, Jubilees chapter 33, verse 1.
What it say?
And Jacob went and dwelled to the south of...
No, this is wrong.
That's wrong. Go 31. Is it 32?
No, it's this, Jubilees.
Okay.
I don't know if I got it.
Want to get right to Bilhah. Is that in there? You seeing that in there?
This version I got it wet.
Let me see. 31. Verse 2.
It says in Reuben saw Bilhah.
That's what I want. Where we at 33 and...
33 and 2.
That's what. Go ahead and read it, bro. You there? Where you at, Zaya? You got to get it code up.
I took it down because I thought it was on.
Keep reading.
Keep reading it. He got it up. Tubai got it up.
All right, and Reuben saw Bilhah, Rachel's maid, the concubine of his father.
The what?
Concubine of his father.
Meaning the second wife. Concubine just means second wife. It's just another name. It don't mean a sex slave like the TOV teaches that handmaids are slaves or sex slave. Then you got a problem with Abigail telling David, "You're handmaid, Lord." And my husband, that fool Nabal, "Lord, your handmaid is willing to rock with you." So is Abigail telling David she'll cheat on Nabal? Or is she a handmaid, just I'll be servant to you in the kingdom? But that's still my husband.
Right.
Handmaids ain't nowhere in the Bible taught as a sex slave. It's a secondary wife that your wife may have had combing her hair and scratching her head when it aileth. Then you take her to wife, and most of them say, take my handmaid to wife because I can't have children. They orchestrated that. It ain't a scripture in there to say, and the man came home and told the wife, "Don't say one word, heifer, here's your sister wife." Where that's written at? The only place they got is say the boy in Judges Gideon had many wives, so he had 70 sons. But what they don't tell you is all 70 of them sons is dead. Killed by the outside son from the outside woman. All of them died. Do they tell you that in Judges 8 chapter? It just said he had many wives. That don't mean there was no agreement like you can take her, you can take her. It still leave the door wide open for speculation. Then they're going to run the word after my. See on the word right there, came together. See, they didn't have to ask no question. How about Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the covenant we under? Sarah gave him Hagar. Leah gave him Zilpah. Rachel gave him the other, Zilpah. Where do you read anywhere in here? And he told her, I say, don't you say another damn word to your Lord and Master. Get to your room and get on your bucket. I smell you. Get on your bucket. Boy, look here. It's tomfoolery. Don't go for it, woman. You'll know how y'all been raised since y'all was a little girl to be a bride. Not hustle and flow. Not trying to get payout. Now ain't nothing wrong with a wife or husband lose his job, they in there, but it's his direction to orchestrate and make sure that's going, and his plan is to still get out there and handle that business.
That's right.
They gonna keep showing up at your job. They pay you yet? Shit, what we gonna eat today then? And you healthy? It's one thing you in a wheelchair, at least you be getting disability then. But you healthy.
And you see how many women who do go to work and have children and they get a new boyfriend and he the one at home.
Boy, look here.
With the baby. And something always happens to the baby.
Right.
While she at work.
That's why they call them dragons, because they're beautiful to take care of.
Boy, look here. It's because you keep shopping at that same store. You're shopping at the Hustle and Flow store. Not only that, now you teaching women to go chase men. The script say the man that findeth the what?
A wife.
The man that findeth the wife. Not the cougar that hunteth in the clubs. That's in the TOV. Let's read some more. Where we at?
Verse 2.
What it say?
And Reuben saw Bilhah, Rachel's maid.
This in Jubilees 30 what?
33 verse 2. And Reuben saw Bilhah, Rachel's maid, the concubine of his father, bathing in water in a secret place.
See, now he pulling a David, King David. David saw Bathsheba peeped off in over where she was cleansing herself. Go ahead.
And he loved her.
And what'd he do?
Loved her. And he hid himself at night. And he entered the house of Bilhah at night.
Who house he entered?
Bilhah.
No, that says Rachel house because that's her handmaid.
Bilhah.
Okay.
The house of Bilhah.
Yes, sir.
And he found her sleeping alone on a bed.
Alone on the bed. Where's Leah and Rachel and Zilpah? Where they at?
Got to be in their house.
Go ahead.
On the bed in her house. And he lay with her.
Right.
And she awoke and saw, and behold, Reuben was laying with her in the bed. And she uncovered the border of her covering and seized him and cried out and discovered that it was Reuben.
Boy, can y'all imagine this? Boy, that's you. Boy, and look, and when you read the testament of Reuben, his words, he say, boy, he was reduced to a 2-pump chump. That's how bad he wanted her. It was over in a nanosecond. Not my words. The testament of Reuben.
As it is written.
Hey, look. Y'all, look, he had been hiding, y'all. He had been hiding all the time, waiting for her to go to bed. And when you read the testament of Reuben, it said he got her drunk.
The anticipation.
Right, anticipation. Right, look. So to keep it clean for the show, look, epididymol hypertension. Look it up for me. Epididymol hypertension. I'm just saying that y'all look that up and tell me what that means. Somebody Google this real quick. Epididymol, epididymol hypertension, and y'all tell me what that means real quick while we read on. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 5.
What it say?
And she was ashamed because of him, and released her hand from him, and he fled. And she lamented because of this thing exceedingly, and did not tell it to anyone. And when Jacob returned and sought her, she said unto him, I am not clean.
I am not what?
Clean for thee. For I have been defiled as regards thee. For Reuben have defiled me, and have lain with me in the night, and I was asleep, and did not discover until he uncovered my skirt and slept with me. And Jacob was exceedingly wroth with Reuben because he had lain with Bilhah, because he had uncovered his father's skirt.
See, what did he do?
Uncover.
See, we keep hearing the uncover, so there's a law about uncovering that makes it righteous or wrong. So at this point, this woman can't get remarried. Well, not at least in there. So she has to live as a widow now, but Jacob's is still taking care of her because we see her on the road with him coming out of Egypt. All them, when you see them separate, she's still there, but she's living as a widow now. Why? Because his son then became an MFer.
Right.
Y'all, see, it's called a curse word. Cursed be the man
Who sleep with his father.
that uncover his father's skirt, and the people shall say amen. So it's a curse word, but we just done turned it into a phrase. Man, that's a bad mother you got right there. But where you get that at Jim Lynch Ford? That's a bad mother. Man, you a black mother. We done turned the most vilest curse in Israel that 1 Corinthians 5 say it should never be counted as anything. It should never be a part in Israel's history ever. And we done turned it into a cool thing. Bernie Mac just took it another level. I ain't scared of you, mother. Let's get it right here. We're gonna go quick. Where you at, bro? Just read down to, you finished that.
Yeah, baby.
Y'all read the rest of that Jubilees. I just wanted y'all to see that, then get into the testament of Reuben. Now when you read Genesis 49, you know why he said, Reuben, thou went up into my couch. So now the blessing passed to the next person. Y'all understand how law go? This is how inheritance go. Reuben, you get absolutely nothing. You blew your covenant. You blew your inheritance. How you gonna sleep with your little brother's mama?
You better not be asking me for
What
that.
if you got her pregnant? What your brother gonna call him? Daddy, uncle? Daddy, uncle. That's confusion. Uncle, daddy. That's confusion, ain't it? Let's read some more. Let's get back to this Jasher 36, y'all. We're going to get ready to close out.
All right, Jasher 36, verse 14. And Reuben was jealous for his mother Leah on account of this. And he was filled with anger. And he arose up in his anger and went and entered the tent of Bilhah. And he thence removed his father's bed.
See, so now you the king of the castle.
Right. How
Go
you
ahead.
gonna get back at your daddy though?
Yeah.
How you gonna do that to your daddy? Well, since you didn't make mama, I'm gonna do this to you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And became that curse that he did to that you so mad at your father, your own father, that you would do him like that.
Because you saying the excuse is my mother. Because you did my mama wrong. Well, look, let's get down to business.
Sound like
That ain't what you mad about. It said you love Bill Hall. Every time you saw him walking around, damn, my daddy got a tender.
Right.
That girl went to high school with me.
She wouldn't give me no
The
play
time of
then.
day, I sent her 2 letters. Do you like me? Say yes or no. No again. Bam. Go ahead, bro. Where we at?
Verse 15.
Yeah.
At that time, the portion of birthright, together with the kingly and priestly office, was removed from the sons of Reuben.
Right.
For he had profaned his father's bed. And the birthright was given unto Joseph, the kingly office to Judah, and the priesthood unto Levi, because Reuben had defiled his father's bed.
Now we just want to get to the point of uncovering the skirt, so y'all, we stay in law, because this is, no matter what language we read this in, if we read it in Hebrew, if we read it in another language, what did Reuben do and what is Reuben called? Will a language change this behavior of the law?
No.
To uncover your father's skirt. What if we say it in Hebrew? What is it still the same act?
Yep.
He's still the same individual. When you read the testimony of Reuben, I'm telling you, when you read, it's his words. He say, I lasted 2 seconds because of eptididymal hypertension. Did anybody get it yet? Anybody say yeah, too bad?
Jacob said in the chat.
It means blue balls. Blue balls. That's a man that's begging all night. She say no, teasing him, yeah, and then finally say it's time for you to go home.
Keep sweating. Why me, baby?
He go home and he walking bent over now like his stomach hurt. Eptididymal hypertension. Where we at?
Oh, you want to drop that right there?
Yeah, drop that, bro. We're gonna finish this off. Give me we're gonna go to the law of uncovering the nakedness real quick. Now we're gonna start beginning up to the 18. It started with Noah and Ham. Give me Genesis 9 and 20. And then back that up with Habakkuk 2:15. Y'all, we're gonna roll right through this law of uncovering nakedness so you understand what curse words are. Curse words ain't what we do today, what Cat Williams doing. That's called railing. That's putting a bunch of curse words together. A curse would be a curse pronounced on an individual for breaking the law of God. They became a curse word. When you look up the word F-U-C-K, is always in capital letters for unlawful carnal knowledge. They didn't know what to charge prostitutes with back in the day, in the early days, so they would stamp that on their papers. What are we gonna charge y'all with? Oh, it's unlawful carnal knowledge. Knowledge meaning to take in knowledge or sexual intercourse. Adam knew Eve and she did what? Right?
Yep.
Mary said, I have not known a man.
Yep.
So we understand what it's talking about, but we let the Bible explain itself, because the law will never pass. In this world or the world to come, it's going to be the same set of laws. Word etymology won't have no place in that. Let's read some more. Where we at?
It's on me still?
Yeah, give me Genesis 9, and we're going to roll through these real quick, y'all. We're going to close on out. Genesis 9, give me 20 through 25 real quick.
Genesis chapter 9.
Okay. Good work. Go ahead, bro.
Genesis chapter 9, verse 20.
What it say?
And Noah began to be an husbandman, and he planted a vineyard, and he drank of the wine and was drunken.
See, right here, a husbandman meaning he a wine connoisseur. You know, like you see the vineyards of California now? That's what he did. But he broke the golden rule even on the streets. He done got high on his own supplies. You can drink, but the law say you can't get drunk.
Right.
When you drunk, you've drank too much. Now you're a sinner. So he broke the law coming off the ark. That's what Satan liked to do. Soon as Adam and Eve got the commandments, he was right there in the garden and tempted Eve and Adam to sin. When they came out of Mount Sinai, there he was, make the golden calf. He comes when you know the Lord personally, then he attacks you. He attacked the Messiah, Matthew 4:4. After he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he said, I know you're hungry, make these stones bread. Put the law on Satan and he fled. Put the law on Satan. Even in your dreams, you have to put the law on Satan. You can't let him bring you Denzel in there and you sleep next to your husband. You think you can just wake up smoking a cigarette? And he's like, baby, what's going on? Nothing, baby. Close your eyes and go back to sleep. Because I'm going back for round 2. You can't sin in your sleep. Let's read some more. Where we at? If y'all don't believe it, read Deuteronomy 23:10. The man that chanceth in the night a nocturnal emission or wet dream must do the same thing Leviticus 15 say. He must get up and wash himself if he have a nocturnal dream. If his shorts wake up and they soggy, he has to do what a man, if he was fully awoke, do. Go wash himself, and he's unclean unto even. That's what the law say. But who he gonna tell? You gonna tell your partner, man, I had the soggy ones again, dog. I don't know why I keep dreaming about Halle Berry. Man, I just don't know. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 22.
What it say?
And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father, and told his 2 brethren without. And Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it upon both their shoulders, and went backward and covered the nakedness of their father. And their faces were backward, and they saw not their father's nakedness. And Noah awoke from his wine, and knew what his younger son had done unto him.
Right.
And he said, Cursed be Canaan.
Cursed be who?
Canaan.
The father, the son of Ham, like it just started, didn't it? Go ahead.
A servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren.
So and then he blessed Shem them for walking backward. They put a garment on and walked backward and covered his nakedness. Now the Muslim teach that he pulled a homosexual act on Noah. But that's because they don't know the law of this Bible.
Say that too, though.
Right, they say it was a homosexual act, like he reached behind them and said, oh, I know what Ham done to me. You think that was the case? That wasn't the case when he uncovered his naked. Because there's a child born. It starts off mentioning Canaan, the most wicked person on this earth, and told not to go deal with them because that started off the world with that fornication. But we're going to see the uncovering of what nakedness means real quick. Give me that Habakkuk 2:15, because we got a drunkenness here and we got uncovering of nakedness. Let's see this. And y'all remember the movie Denzel, The Devil in the Blue Dress? Y'all going to see Habakkuk 2:15 if y'all watch that movie. He got his partner drunk, and then he uncovered his nakedness. He didn't get with him. The boys with him and his wife went in the bedroom, because he knew how long that R&R was going to have him out. Didn't give him no Hennessy or no good stuff, R&R. 5 gallons for $2. What it say, bro? Habakkuk 2:15.
Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 15.
What it say?
Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that putteth thy bottle to him, and makest him drunken also.
See,
that
so
thou mayest look on their naked.
Read it all over again for me, bro.
Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that putteth thy bottle to him, that makest him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their naked.
That thou mayest look on their naked. You think that how would that be? You think you're gonna get your partner drunk and just pull his clothes off? Boy, look at the chest on Rufus. And the loins. No, it don't mean that. It has nothing to do with me. The law for that say if a man lieth with a woman as a man lieth with a man as he do with a woman, is it an abomination? That's that law for that. But uncovering the naked is so totally something different, and we finna get it explained, so we'll go to the book of the law. Give me Leviticus 18 real quick. Y'all, we're gonna run through these and we're gonna close it out. Just got a couple. So y'all clearly understand what Reuben did, because these one West camps I heard had some young brothers on the street corner talking about Reuben when they reading the blessings and the curse, and they talking about Reuben went off, y'all. See, he went off, y'all. He was like go from 0 to 100. You know, he was like, you know, so boxer start off, but he ended up like Floyd Mayweather. I'm like, Negro, where you get this understanding from? He uncovered his father's skirt. What the hell has that got to do with Floyd Mayweather? Read some more. Shabbat shalom, bro. Shabbat shalom, y'all. Go ahead, bro. We gonna get caught up real quick. Give me real quick, y'all. Leviticus 18 and start about 18. Y'all, we just gonna hit these last few, y'all. We're gonna close on out.
Leviticus.
I tell you what, give me 1 and 3 so we know who we shouldn't be like. Go ahead.
1 and 3.
Yeah. I mean 18 and 3, I'm sorry.
3 through 5.
3 through 5, yeah.
Leviticus chapter 18, verse 3.
And go down to 8.
After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt, shall ye not do.
Right.
And after the doings of the land of Canaan, whether I bring you, shall ye not do.
Right.
Neither shall ye walk in their ordinances.
Neither walk in their ordinances. Go ahead.
Ye shall do my judgments and keep mine ordinances to walk therein. I am the Elohim, your power. Ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, which if a man do, he shall live in them. I am the Elohim.
Right.
None of you shall approach to any that is near of kin to him to uncover their nakedness.
To do what?
To uncover their nakedness.
Uh-huh.
I am the Elohim.
Yes, sir.
The nakedness of thy father or the nakedness of thy mother shall thou not uncover. She is the mother. She is thy mother. Thou shalt not uncover her nakedness.
Right.
The nakedness of thy father's wife.
Who is thy father's wife? Thy father's wife. Who is that? To me. Thy father's wife. My mama. Right? Ain't that your father's wife? That's my mama. Whether it's stepmama or not, that's my mama. Go ahead.
The nakedness of thy father's wife shalt thou not uncover. It is thy father's nakedness.
Who nakedness is it?
Thy father's nakedness.
Jump down. Y'all read all that time. Jump down to verse 14.
Verse 14. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy father's brother.
Who is thy father's brother? Who is thy father's brother? Go ahead, let's read what his nakedness is. Go ahead.
Thou shalt not approach to his wife. She is thine aunt.
What is she?
Thine aunt.
Is that clear, y'all? Do y'all understand what uncovering your father's brother's nakedness is? You can't approach. That's your auntie. That's his nakedness. That's your father's neck. Your father's brother's nakedness. That's your auntie. It ain't said nothing about him humping on his uncle, did it? Not one word about that, did it? So throw that Muslim doctrine out of here. Throw them other doctrines out of here. Some say that Ham just looked at his daddy like he was laying there drunk and he just pulled the covers back and like, damn. Daddy could have left that Vienna sausage in the can. Come here, y'all. Come here and look at daddy. That's what Christianity wants you to believe that this story is talking about. Because they teach don't study the law. So they're not going to explain it from the law. What you got over there, bro? That's what we're talking about. That's why Noah knew what he did when he woke up. He like, that boy, that's a slick SOB. Boy, Satan done jumped right in there that quick and got him. Hold that. Just give me let's get we got that one. Give me what you got to about?
You pretty much just answered it, but they may not have heard it, so you may need to repeat it a bit. Pretty much asking, so is this just about physical sin? Like, what if you have an elderly parent that needs bathing?
What happened now? Well, we're not talking. This is talking about sexual intercourse. If long as you don't slip in that bath water too and think you in the Superfly movie, y'all know that one bathtub scene that every brother wanted to be a part of. If you ain't doing that, then it ain't no sin. You're taking care of your mother in her elderly age. Right. Sirach chapter 7, Sirach chapter 3. You may have to wash your parents in their older age. They can't wash it. What, you gonna let doo-doo just pile up on them? There she go again. I'm sick of buying Depends. You got to wash. You just can't snatch a Depend off and put on another one and her rear end still scratchy and itchy full of feces, can you?
So washing your mother and soaping her up is two different things.
But that's two different things. Because you ain't got to wash your whole A, but you have to wash your A whole, because that's what makes the stain. Let's read some more. Where we at?
Was we through to Leviticus?
Yeah, go to 20, Leviticus 20.
20 and 20.
20 and 20, you know what I want, bro. And we're going to hit the last one, Deuteronomy 27:20, y'all. And we're going to close on out of here. The homework is the testament of Reuben. Leviticus 20 and 20. This just backs up 20 and 14. And read 20 and just 21 on that. Leviticus 20 and 21. Y'all read the whole thing, and this was the behavior in the land of Canaan. Why would the Most High send us to Canaan and know this behavior going on? Because we are the light. Light overpowers darkness. How you gonna start somewhere else that ain't got no problems? How we gonna start in this city where it's 99% righteous marriages? You don't start there. You start where it's wife swapping at. Let them see what's going on. That's how the Most High get down. Ain't gonna put you in a lightweight work. You going where the drama's at. And you're gonna take it over so the whole world see it. Righteousness had come to the most wicked spot on earth. Like it's the most wicked spot on earth right now. Do you know that Jerusalem lead in the gay parade, gay pride parade? Y'all Google that. Who leads in the gay pride parade? They're marching down the streets with dog collars on, Prince butt out jeans, masks and dog collars in Jerusalem. Google it, y'all. Let's read some more. Where we at?
Leviticus chapter 20, verse 20.
What it say?
And if a man shall lie with his uncle's wife.
With his who what?
His uncle's wife. He hath uncovered his uncle's nakedness. They shall bear their sin. They shall die childless.
See, so that if a man lay with his uncle's wife, he had uncovered his uncle's nakedness. That nakedness belonged to his uncle. It's his nakedness. That's how we were talking back in them days. So if a man lied with his father's wife, he had uncovered his father's nakedness. He's a mother for unlawful carnal knowledge. It's unlawful carnal knowledge. It's unlawful. It's against the law of God. So how you let somebody that's talking about, gonna show you David had multiple wives and then say, I gave you your master's wife. Wouldn't that be Saul's wife? And he's married to Saul's daughter already. Wouldn't that make him go into his mother-in-law and the daughter at the same time when the law say you can't have the mother and the daughter?
Verse 14.
And you Negroes think that's what bosom mean, because that's when they run to them. Let me show you what bosom mean in the word etymology. Well, Messiah's in the bosom of the Father. So what's that, a homosexual act? Or what are you saying? Law reigns supreme, not word etymology.
That's right.
Let's read some more. Where is that? Where you at? You finished that?
21.
Go ahead.
And if a man shall take his brother's wife, it is an unclean thing.
What is it?
An unclean thing. He hath uncovered his brother's nakedness.
See, but the law say if a man die and don't have no child, then his brother should take his wife. But what is that man though before his brother take his wife?
Dead.
Dead. Now ain't she done been with his brother already? Why does the law say she can be now with his brother and then still not be calling what these Negroes saying in the TOV that she ain't worth nothing now because she done had a second man? This the law. Now you challenging God with your doctrine. What you got?
If she doesn't have a child by a dead husband, right?
If she got a child. If she ain't got a child for that law. But if she got children, it still tell you in Sirach, what is that, 8:22? Be a father to the children more than a husband to their mother. If you got a package deal, children come, that's why it was set up for the fatherless and the widows. Because husbands ran off. They left women with children, so if she found a husband and she got children, he know it's a package deal. I got to look at these children like they mine. But what's happening is the women are getting the men and they're only babysitters. So they don't know how to be a man to the child. Damn it, didn't I tell you I was gonna fix you some cereal when I get through playing the game? You said that at 8 o'clock and it's a quarter to 2. Where we at, bro? Did we finish that one? Okay, let's hit this last one. 1 Chronicles 5:1. And we're going to hit these 3. We're going to close out. Deuteronomy 27:20. We're just going to hit them once. And 1 Corinthians 5:1. And y'all going to understand why MF is so bad. Shalom, y'all. Shalom. Hope it didn't get too rough for them short leggers, did it? It didn't get too rough for them short leggers, did it? No. Okay, good, good. Yes, sir. Try to use them words. After did them all hypertension.
You just wanted to say it.
Yeah, I want to say it again. See, especially after a night of fabric burning, it's rough on them. We had another name for it though. Clothes burning. Go ahead, brother. Y'all see, this what we talking about, y'all. That's what this book is about. It start off about a marriage covenant. In the Garden of Eden, it's going to end with a marriage covenant. It's only talking about marriage, y'all. So this is why the laws are set up for the marriage game. It's not set up for polygamy, which means many women in Greek, and porno. Ask them to explain, give me the Hebrew word for polygamy. How you gonna tell me I can only speak in Hebrew and it has the power and you keep saying polygamy? Tell me what it says in the Hebrew. The only thing you get is a car ishi, another is a car. Ishi means wife. If you say, man, I'm with that a car ishi, but don't bring me that Greek game, them was booty bandits. Y'all know what was happening in the Greek hell? We were saying it before we knew, man, we did it Greek style. If it weren't for the children, I'll tell you what that means. Grease style, that's what it really is. Go ahead. Go ahead, boy. Go ahead, bro. Let's get these 3 and we're going to close out.
1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 1.
What it say?
Now the sons of Reuben, the firstborn of Israel.
1 Chronicles we in.
For he was the firstborn. But for as much as he defiled his father's bed.
What'd he do?
Defiled his father's bed. His birthright was given unto the sons of Joseph, the son of Israel. And the genealogy is not to be reckoned after the birthright.
See, so he forced a change in even the birthright with that behavior. Do y'all know that altered the birthright? That behavior? Let's hit this last one, Deuteronomy 27:20 and 1 Corinthians 5. And we close out, y'all. But I just wanted to give an example of the law going from male, female, rich, free, poor, bond, from that perspective, so we understand what uncovering the nakedness is according to the Bible and its law. Don't get word etymology out of this. It's law.
Deuteronomy chapter 27, verse 20.
What it say? Hold on, here's a few pages. Flip. What they saying out there, too, Bob? We good?
Well, so far, so good. It's still kind of going back and forth. Oh, okay, they giving me brother that question. Going back and forth.
All right, Deuteronomy chapter 27, verse 20.
What it say?
Cursed be he that lieth with his father's wife.
What is he?
Cursed.
See, y'all see why that's a curse word now? When you see him come and look at this black mother. If we truly knew what that means, we'd be looking at, look at this black mother that slept with his dad, his wife. That's what you technically saying. You got to be careful when you tell somebody, you can't make that a cool thing. Man, this right here, man, this my MF, man, this my MF. Really? This who you hang with. Mr. G-string in front of his mama. This your MF. Hey, look here. Go ahead, bro.
because he uncovereth his father's skirt, and all the people shall say, Amen.
Look, and the people shall say, Amen. Yeah, this a lousy black mother. You right. This is lousy here. Hit that last one, 1 Corinthians 5. 1 through 4, I believe it is. We're going to close on out, y'all. Y'all, we try to make these subject matters as clean as possible, y'all. But y'all have to understand when he truly say, you're not going to bring that into my kingdom. That's why we're kicking it out of Jerusalem, the land of Canaan. He said it can't be in there. So how we think we going to house this up and take it to the kingdom? That's your own kingdom. Absalom had David 10 concubines. David didn't go back into them, never again. It said they lived as widows, but he took care of them for the rest of their life. And what has this got to do with children? If the whole thing is if you have another woman, they ain't talking about the children. They're talking about the other thing that opened the womb up. That's what they arguing with you about. And then they'll say, well, we ain't saying about that's only if they got children. Negro, please. What you basically saying, if she got more than one man, she's trash. If that's the case, ain't no scripture should be in here about remarrying. If her husband finds something wrong with her, he bring up an evil name on her and it's found to be true, it says she may go and be another man's wife. Not saying she's not worthy anymore. This heifer is through, she's one and done. Especially if she has children. Says chapter 1160 in the book of TOVs. Where you at, boy? Go ahead, that last one.
1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 1.
What it say?
It is reported commonly that there is fornication among you.
What is among us?
Fornication among you. And such fornication as is not so much as named among the Gentiles.
And y'all wonder why all nations, when they mock us and they tell jokes like us, what the first thing they do? They grab their private, MF, they mock us. That ain't commonly reported among the Gentiles. They mock us with it. Even if they doing it, they mocking us with it though. They tell that joke, 3 men was falling off a cliff. Every man jumped off, killed a life. The brother, he was the last one down. They say, what happened? He slowed down to write MF on the wall before he, they got jokes about it. About us and that word and that behavior. Let's read some more.
That one shall have his father's wife, and you are puffed up, and have not rather mourned, that he that have done this deed might be taken away from among you.
And when you read Reuben's, and when you get into, like we didn't finish off that Jubilees, but I want y'all to finish that off because it says written in the heavenly tablet, any man that do this is worse than a footprint. He lower than a footprint. That's what it finished saying in Jubilees of how this can go down. Because lust is at another point at this point. And it say the same thing about a father. You can't go in your daughter-in-law. That's what happened with Judah when he didn't give his 2 sons to Tamar. He didn't have no children. And then she pretended to be a harlot, but she's technically engaged to Shelah, the baby boy. But Judah drunk and gave up all his wealth. He didn't have no money, so he pulled off his ring. And he gave his ring to her, and he gave her his staff, because he said, what's the price, Alpha? She said, 1 goat. 1 goat. He like, well, ain't no goats around here. And she said, well, you got to give up some if you want to play. You got to pay. You know this is female, this ain't free male. And he played and gave off his ring. Then here he come back with a goat. Hey, I'm looking for that heifer that was out here. They're like, man, ain't no heifer out here. Man, my ring and stuff is gone. Man, I done gave up everything. He's like, oh, it's a woman right here. She say she got all your stuff. They say, man, Tamar done played the harlot. So in the Bible, there's nowhere it says, and the woman that was a harlot was punished. It only says the married woman that plays the harlot is punished. So they were going to punish Tamar because she was technically married to the baby boy. She's supposed to be given to him. And what Judah say? She more righteous than me. I've been holding back on marrying her because I thought that stuff had a death sentence on it. One of my boys had already died. I'm going to give another to him. That stuff killing my sons. And it ended up killing him, didn't it? Technically. So y'all, that's what we talk about. Where there's no law, there's no what? Okay. Solomon, the two harlots had the baby, right? Did he lock any of them up? Two women, and one of them had two babies, and you know they was by the same daddy because they're in the same house. How the other one gonna roll over on the other one's baby and say it's mine? But Solomon said, I'll split the baby. Where is the daddy at? Man, Solomon about to split them babies, man, of your shit. I ain't going up there to court. Shit, my wife don't know about them heifers. Ain't no man there at court about killing this baby. Two harlots, and y'all, harlot only becomes a bad word when they start practicing it. But harlot is a woman that's had sex and the husband didn't give her the paperwork. We have to give her that title so the other men will know she's not a virgin. She got tricked. Now if she start practicing that and say, well, he gave me a goat, hell, I can get the cable bill paid with Earl. I can get my rent paid with Timmy. Damn, that new refrigerator I want, shit, he say he working at Chrysler now. Now she's a whore. And there's laws against whore. Thy daughter shall not be a whore. But once a woman has sex, and it can be only one man in her whole life, 20 years later she get married, what does her title change to? Wife. You can't never call her that other name no more. And you read Hosea, Hosea 4, where it told Hosea to go marry the prostitute. Did they stay whores or did they start getting the word? Read the whole story. He was showing Israel your behavior. I'm going to show you how a whore straightens herself out. So it ain't never a point that where a woman can't come back. He showed you with the prophets, go marry them whores and straighten them out. And he straightened them out, but Israel still whoring. Right? So how dare they tell the sisters you ain't no good if you didn't have one man and you got a child by them don't bring it. You don't want to take care of your own children. You damn sure ain't taking care of nobody else's, so to speak. But you ain't taking care of yourself. A man has to be standing up. I'm not saying he has to be working a Fortune 500 country, but if he laying down, you cannot get him on his feet. And y'all know what laying down means, because every car you see that a sister driving, the man on the passenger side with the seat laid down, ain't it? I ain't seen a car with the seat all the way back and laid down. I'm like, who is that sleeping on? Hell, the back seat is his pillow. And she driving, she's so mad and full of reproach. I'm so sick of it, because she can't let him drive. You ain't on my insurance nor the lease, damn. Y'all, we finished with that. We finished that Corinthians, didn't we? Yeah. Any questions out there, y'all, before we close out? Any questions before we close out, y'all? Just wanted to go over the law, y'all. We're going to do these things again from all four sides. Male, female, free or bond, Jew or Gentile. You have to complete the entire law. Or you're guilty of the whole law of uncovering nakedness. All of it you're guilty of. Not the whole 613, but just that 4 sides of it. You break one side of it, you're guilty of the other 3 sides of it. Not all the law. Hell, if I steal, I'm guilty of adultery. Unless I stole that. Right. So you have to understand the law, not word etymology. Bosom allowed you with word etymology to say it's okay for David to sleep with his mother-in-law. That's what word etymology do if you let them run with you with bosom. What we got? What psalm we closing out with? Let's get right to it. Give me we'll go to the alphabet. Let's see what Aleph talk about. Let's get them first 8 verses of the alphabet in Psalm 119, 1 through 8. Anybody got any questions before we close out? Too bad they saying anything.
No, sir. It's an excellent lesson.
Yes, sir. Psalm 119. First letter of the alphabet. Aleph. All praises to the Most High, y'all. Right. Long live the King, our mighty Redeemer. We're reading from Psalms 119, verse 1. Blessed are the undefiled in the way, who walk in the law of the Lord. Blessed are they that keep his commandments, his testimonies, and that seek him with the whole heart. They also do no iniquity. They walk in his ways. Thou hast commanded us to keep thy precepts diligently. Oh, that my ways were directed to keep thy statutes. Then shall I not be ashamed when I have respect unto all thy commandments. I will praise thee with uprightness of heart when I shall have learned thy righteous judgments. I will keep thy statutes. Oh, forsake me not utterly. Hallelujah! Say that! I'm working on it every year. Almost had it. Y'all, if y'all got a shekel or two, y'all, we greatly appreciate it. Y'all out there in the worldwide audience, and we thank y'all so much for what y'all sending in to keep this ministry going, y'all. And we'll keep it going, most high willing. Shouts out y'all also to Skinny Black out there, y'all. Tornado knocked a tree down, hit everything but the house, it said, with damage. So the Most High surrounds us. It got rough down there in Atlanta. Y'all down there check on Skinny Black.